Ladies and gentlemen, I believe we are live. Can everyone hear me? I guess hear me. Can everyone hear me? I hope everything is going fine. The brand new free agency, I guess free agency is about to begin, at least. And, I can hear myself real quick. One sec. All right, there we go. Okay. But I guess first things first, I won't go into full screen because I need to be able to refresh this list. But we can go over a rundown. So for Christian Wilkins, the star defensive tackle from the Miami Dolphins, who hit free agency, is expected to be targeted by the Vikings, Browns, Texans, and the Lions. The Bears are expected to make a major push for Pro Bowl running back DeAndre Swift. Eagles are going to make a strong push for Saquon Barkley. And Bears are making a strong push for DeAndre Swift, is what we saw. What were some other things? About an hour ago, I believe that T. Higgins requested a trade from the Bengals. Yeah, Eagles are going to be in pursuit of Saquon Barkley. Yeah, we'll have to see. Danielle Hunter, I feel like the Broncos could target Danielle Hunter, although in the rebuilding stage we're in, probably not anymore, but I feel like we need to add a veteran pass rusher alongside Nick Benito, Baron Browning, and Jonathan Cooper. To me, a lot of people think we're going to draft one early. I think I'd rather sign a veteran and then have the young guys develop, but that's just my opinion. I know a lot of Broncos fans want to draft one, but hey, to each their own. To each their own. Yeah, I'm just trying to see what we need to get caught up on. Eagles make Landon Dickerson the top paid guard in the NFL with a 4-year extension worth up to $87 million. Unfortunately for us, I think we're going to have to pay Quinn Miners more than that next offseason to extend him because he's a dang good guard. And I want to bring back Lloyd Cushenberry, but I don't know if that's going to happen. Colts signed Michael Pittman Jr. to a 3-year deal. T. Higgins has requested a trade. I'm just trying to get caught up before everything gets started. Eagles are going to pursue 2 former Giants, Saquon Barkley and Xavier McKinney, in free agency. We saw the Landon Dickerson thing. Like I mentioned, Quinn Miners just got pricier, which sucks, but hey, it is what it is. All right, what else is there? Let's go ahead, let's refresh, see if there's any new news. Titans, Giants, Ravens, and Commanders to watch out for Mike Onwenu. All right. Demario Davis reworked the final year of his deal. Okay. We saw this. Vikings, Browns, Texans, and Lions all have Christian Wilkins as a top target. I still can't believe the Dolphins let him go. I'll be honest. To me, that was one of the most surprising moves this offseason. But yeah, nothing so far. As the day goes on, so Giants, Packers, Eagles to watch for Xavier McKinney. As the day goes on, though, I have this spreadsheet that I like to make every year, and this essentially is going to be for the Broncos, and we'll just fill in everything we know. Like right now, we know Jarrett Stidham and Ben DiNucci are on the roster, but we could sign a veteran. I know Sam Darnold has been linked to us, and in my opinion, I would love for the Broncos to draft J.J. McCarthy. That's just my opinion. But as free agency rolls along, we will continue to fill this out for the Broncos and kind of just keep the roster up to date. Of course, we'll update this after the draft, and then as training camp goes on, after the final cuts are made, we'll have to, of course, fill in the final 53. But we'll work on that as the day goes along. What do you think about Garrett Bowles' future with the Broncos? That's tough. That's tough because I feel like the Broncos want to keep him, but I feel like it would be kind of smart if the Broncos also wanted to trade him if they could find a valuable trade or if you got something in return, something decent in return to move on from him, because let's be honest, he's fairly old, and here, I'll look up his contract right now, because we drafted him when he was like 25 out of college, and so if we could move on, that wouldn't be the worst thing ever, because I do believe he's on the last year of his deal, right? Yeah, he is on the last year of his deal, so if we can move on, I wouldn't mind that. He is about 31 years old, so if the Broncos found the right price, I wouldn't mind moving on from him, but I think most likely the Broncos will be keeping Garrett Bowles for this upcoming season, if I had to guess. 49ers are re-signing quarterback Brandon Allen, former Bronco quarterback all the way back in 2019. If you remember that. Started, I think, 2 games between Joe Flacco and then Drew Lock in that 2019 season. Because to me, I think we're going in a full rebuild here, if I had to guess, which is good, because we tried to retool, and we've been trying to retool for the past few seasons, and that just hasn't been working out. Broncos center Lloyd Cushenberry is expected to have a robust market with the Titans leading the way. That is unfortunate. I would love for Lloyd Cushenberry to come back, but it looks like it's not going to be happening. I wish I had some inside sources, but I don't. This is just obviously from a fan's perspective. But if we go over here, I think the running backs right now, it's looking like Javonte Williams, obviously, Samaje Perine, and Jaleel McLaughlin. If I had to guess, I feel like that is the running back room we would take into next season. Of course, we could add to it in the draft or maybe sign a guy, but right now that looks like it. Fullback, I don't know if we're bringing Michael Burton back. As for the quarterbacks, well, right now, Jarrett Stidham is the starter with Ben DiNucci as a backup. Of course, I do think we're going to draft one or potentially sign one in free agency, but I don't know if that's necessarily going to be today. The Jaguars, Patriots, Titans, and Panthers are teams to watch for Calvin Ridley. So just to clarify, deals cannot be officially done today, but they can be agreed upon today, and then they're official on Wednesday. And then that's when trades can also be official, is on Wednesday when the new league year begins. We're not even going to address this right now. I think it's good that we moved on from Russ, but everyone is kind of switching the narrative and keeps saying, "Oh yeah, we're still paying him $37.8 million." Yeah, come on. We had to cut him. We had to eat the dead money. No way about it. But eventually the dead money will be gone. But we're definitely rebuilding. So eating this money on a rebuild isn't the worst thing. Of course, you don't want to, but it's not the worst thing in a rebuild. But, yeah, would prefer not to have to eat that money. That's for sure. The Bears are signing running back DeAndre Swift to a 3-year, $24 million deal. Going to most likely be helping out their future franchise quarterback in Caleb Williams with the run game in DeAndre Swift. And that is really, I guess, the first domino to fall here in free agency. Is DeAndre Swift to the Bears is picking up traction. And what we are about 13 minutes in, and we already have our first signing. If you guys were here in last year's free agency stream, you'll remember that pretty much right away it was, oh, bam, the Broncos signed Mike McGlinchey. Bam, the Broncos signed Jarrett Stidham. Bam, the Broncos signed Ben Powers, like that. I don't expect that to happen this year. I think we might get one signing from the Broncos this year if we're lucky, but I would not expect any signings from the Broncos right now. Maybe we do a couple trades or trade some players away, but at this present time, I don't expect the Broncos to really do anything. But I could be wrong, of course. Like I keep mentioning, I have no inside sources. This is just all from a fan's perspective and what I think could happen. But obviously, I'm wrong a lot of times. So I just like to give my opinion and voice my opinion, put that out there. So DeAndre Swift is the 6th highest paid running back in the league. But of course, we still got some other guys out there, including Saquon Barkley, Josh Jacobs, and Derrick Henry, who will all most likely surpass DeAndre Swift in terms of pay as a running back. I believe it was last season DeAndre Swift was traded to the Eagles after the Giants took Jahmyr Gibbs. I think, well, not right after, obviously, but in day 2 of the draft last year, DeAndre Swift was traded to the Eagles, and now he's moving on to the Bears. Interesting signing, I will say. But also, not a bad one. Not bad, not horrible. Bengals re-signed Travion Williams. Deion Dawkins is not returning to Buffalo, it looks like, from this image. It was good while it lasted. Buffalo, excited for my next chapter of football. I just kind of paused there. I don't know why, but it was good while it lasted, Buffalo. Excited for this next chapter of my football career. Wonder if it's okay to eat ranch now. There's the official tweet from the NFL Twitter page. Or I guess X page now, whatever you want to call it. I still call it Twitter. Bills are moving on from Deion Dawkins. Yeah, that's what we just mentioned. Yeah. Right here, as Andrew Mason is pointing out, Sam Darnold could be moving on to Denver. And that's clearly a bridge quarterback move, which would lead me to suggest the Broncos drafting a quarterback and developing a guy. I mean, personally, for me, I would rather just keep Stidham because he's got 1 year left on his contract and then draft a guy. So that would be what I would do. But obviously, Sean Payton is running this team. He's going to get the guys who he wants, even in a rebuilding year. What's up, Preem? 50 in cap and some picks, new beginnings. Yeah, 50 million. Yeah. New beginnings for sure. Yeah. I know it's hard for a lot of fans right now, but I kind of like the rebuild, honestly, because we've been trying to retool ever since the Super Bowl, and we just keep falling flat on our faces. So this is a much-needed rebuild. So I'm fine with new beginnings. Yet we got new picks from trading Jerry, and I expect us to get more picks. I expect a couple more guys to most likely be traded, but yeah, we'll have to see for sure. We'll have to see. So far, the latest news is Deion Dawkins moving on from the Bills. but we will have to see. One sec, I'm turning off my webcam so I can take a quick swig of water. Alrighty. I accidentally went out of my list. Jeez Louise. That's all good. Still, I want to work on this right now. Obviously, I think that as the season goes along, I think that, well, Stidham could still be the starter, but I do expect potentially a rookie and then Sam Darnold to be signed somewhere. But for now, we're just going to do it as we have it. All of these guys are still under contract. No fullback. We could go. It's just we could trade people too. So that's what makes me nervous. But we'll work on it as the day goes on. If we sign someone, for example. But yeah, we'll see. Yeah, so far, DeAndre Swift is still currently the only free agent who has officially signed since the legal tampering period has opened. I hope we get a day 2 pick for Garrett Bowles. That would be nice. I don't see that happening, though, just because he's in the final year of his contract. I mean, I guess technically offensive linemen, they can play later because he's 31, so he could still have another contract in him, but would a team be willing to part with a second or third round pick for Bulls? I'm not so sure they would, but if they do, I would be more than happy to get a second or third round pick. Absolutely. I'm not sure it happens though, but we'll have to see. $3-year, $24.5 million deal, including $15.3 million guaranteed. Okay, those are just the contract details. Here are all the members in this list that I have, just so it's straight football news. But yeah, could add more, but I don't know. This is the list that I had from last season, and it worked out pretty solid, I say, last season. So yeah, just patiently waiting for who the next free agent signing is going to be. Hmm. Yeah, still got this. I can't even fill out. I guess I could put like Riley Dixon in here because I think he's still under contract. Will Lutz, though, still need to re-sign him if we want to bring him back as our kicker. We'll have to see. So I'm going to probably fill that out later in the day as it continues. And I don't know if I mentioned this already, but I plan for this to be like a 2-hour stream, maybe 3 hours if the news is getting really crazy and we're just having a good time chilling. But yeah, we'll have to see. Bills 3-time Pro Bowl left tackle Deion Dawkins is signing a 3-year, $16.5 million extension. Okay. Well, that was certainly interesting. That was certainly interesting with all the stuff that he was posting about it was good while it lasted, and then he signs an extension. Alrighty. Yeah, look at this. Deion Dawkins. It was good while it lasted, Buffalo. Excited for my next chapter. Excited for this next chapter of my football career. Wonder if it's okay to eat ranch now. And then he signs an extension. It's a bit interesting. It's a bit interesting. Crazy. But yeah, like I mentioned earlier, I do not expect the Broncos to sign anyone today. Well, I said one player. Maybe we signed one player today, but I don't know. I think we're still going to be trying to most likely clear cap and dump cap. Potentially making some trades, but we'll have to see. Um, well, now that I think about it, maybe trades don't happen right away because teams want to test out what's going to happen in free agency, and then if they need some players, then call up the Broncos for a trade. I think the most likely guy to be traded is probably Courtland Sutton, but we'll have to see. I guess we can go and try and scroll down to see what happened before the deadline opened. I know that T. Higgins was the main story of him requesting a trade. But we just got to get down there. Landon Dickerson signs an extension, which it's not good for when we have to re-sign Quinn Miners. But yeah, quite unfortunate. Bucks have agreed to terms with kicker Chase McLaughlin. 3-year deal for Chase McLaughlin. Bengals, he requested a trade. Unhappy that it's been over a year since long-term extension talks have taken place between the Bengals and Higgins. Be a solid receiver for whoever trades for him. I don't think the Broncos will be trading for him, especially since we're entering a rebuild. Oh, yeah, Kirk Cousins will begin discussions with the Falcons. I know there were some rumors yesterday that the Broncos could potentially pursue Kirk Cousins, which I would not have liked. Don't get me wrong, Kirk is a good quarterback, but we're entering a rebuilding year, and I'd rather get a rookie for Peyton if one of them is his guy and start developing him, and we can start building around a rookie who would be younger and we could have for a longer time if the rookie pans out. Jaguars extend Blake Hance. J.J. Jansen returning for his 16th season as a long snapper. It's a long snapper. I don't really care that much, but he's getting more money than me, so that's all that really matters, though. Yep. Michael Pittman got an extension. Same with Deion Dawkins. Feel like right now it's kind of slower than last year. Starting off a little bit slower than last year, actually. At least in my opinion. Maybe it's just because I got to sit here and kind of ramble just a little bit to keep up to date with things. But hopefully things start picking up a little bit. I think the free agents could start talking to teams last night. And then I think it officially can start being announced at 10 in the morning or at 10 in the morning Mountain Time. And then, can officially be announced at 10 today, noon Eastern. But yeah, we'll see what happens. I feel like I got every major insider in this list, so I keep wanting to check like my phone to see if anything else has happened, but this will be the most pretty much up-to-date list. Once again, here are all the members inside of this list. Um, so we'll see if any news drops. Probably could add one or two more reporters or insiders, but most of them retweet each other and quote tweet each other. So we'll get it. We'll get it still. Yep, Deion Dawkins played everybody, signing a 3-year extension in Buffalo. But yeah, the free agency is starting off pretty slow. Pretty slow right now, but yeah. I'm hoping it picks up. Hopefully. Hopefully at least. Yeah, if you are all enjoying the stream, make sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel. The support would be absolutely appreciated. Bears upgrade at running back. Okay. Let's just read this. Bears upgrade at running back. Running back. Swift's talented, but with durability concerns. I'm a go big or go home guy with running backs. If you spend good money, it better be for the Barkley or Henrys. Otherwise, go draft. Bears' issue is lack of draft picks while having quite a few needed to fill some before the draft. Yeah, I do think, well, obviously the Bears have 2 first-round picks. I think one of them obviously is going to be Caleb Williams. Now, what happens with that number 9 pick? Does Rome Odunze fall to the Bears at 9? Give him another weapon with DJ Moore, with Darnell Mooney, with Cole Kmet. Maybe do they even go and draft Brock Bowers, even though they extended Cole Kmet last offseason? I don't know. Maybe they go edge rusher as well. But yeah, obviously they weren't going to take a running back in the first round. There's no Bijan, there's no Jahmyr Gibbs in this draft to go that high. In my opinion, I think Braylon Allen's the best running back in this class, but you could easily, with the way I think the rest of the league views him, you could get him in the second, third, maybe even fourth round. But yeah. This is crazy. This is crazy. 2 moves have been made so far. All right, one sec. I'm going to take a quick swig of water again. So I'm going to mute my mic and turn off my webcam real quick. All righty. I mean, I knew it was going to start off slow, but we're half an hour in right now. So I wouldn't mind the Broncos adding an explosive running back. We are obviously going to need to run the ball a ton with a rookie quarterback. When you say rookie mediocre quarterback, I'm assuming you mean a rookie and then potentially starting over that rookie a more mediocre guy like a Sam Darnold, like a Jarrett Stidham. And I agree. At least because I'm not going to call a rookie mediocre because we don't know what they can develop into. But in the first year, that rookie will be most likely not the greatest because at pick 12, or even if we trade up to like pick 7 to grab our guy, I don't think it's going to be the Joe Burrows, the Justin Herberts, the CJ Strouds, those instant impacts. So I definitely agree that we are going to need to have a solid running game, especially, getting rid of Jerry Jeudy, potentially getting rid of Sutton. We are going to need to have a solid run game to help the rookie out. Um, yeah, that is a good call, but I don't see us signing a running back necessarily today because we do have Javonte, who I'm hoping Javonte bounces back next season. We have P. Ryan, and then we have McLaughlin. So I could see us signing a running back. I don't think that happens today, though. I guess I can let me pull up the top free agents. Let's see here. We'll go to Spot Rack. Well, if it loads. I'm getting a 502 bad gateway. I also wouldn't mind us signing another um, receiver who's not great, because if we are really getting rid of Jeudy, well, we did get rid of Jeudy, but if we're getting rid of Sutton too, I do think obviously the rookie's going to need someone to throw to. Got Marvin Mims, who's going into year 2. Got Lil Jordan Humphrey, but I wouldn't mind if we were to sign another guy. Here, I'm just pulling up the PFF one because Spot Rack is deciding not to load. Quarterbacks here that the Broncos could target: Sam Darnold. No, probably not, but I think Sam Darnold is the most likely. In terms of running backs, who who do we want? Maybe a J.K. Dobbins, but he's kind of injury prone, so I don't know. I think one that I think Sean Payton would target, but I don't think is going to happen because we are rebuilding, was Josh Jacobs. I thought he was going to target him last year, but I think he got franchise tagged and then signed a 1-year extension with the Raiders. But Josh Jacobs, if you want to go receiving back, a Colorado guy, and Austin Eckler is available. But receivers, you could sign like a Paris Campbell, DPJ, KJ Osborne. One of the maybe not super expensive guys you could sign. Tight ends, I don't know. I think most likely I would like to draft Jaheim Bell from Florida State because Dulcich has obviously been injured in his first 2 NFL seasons. He's been a solid vertical receiver and a solid receiver because we need that receiving tight end, and Dulcich is solid at that, but he just needs to stay healthy. So I'd like Jaheim Bell in the draft. Maybe we bring back Adam Troutman, but I don't know. Yeah, I get what you're saying, Preem. Yeah, that Melvin Gordon kind of soured our taste on Chargers running backs with the fumbles. I mean, Eckler doesn't have the same fumbling issues, but he's not going to be a he's a running back, but he's not a running back, if you know what I mean. He can take some carries out of the backfield, but he's going to be more of your receiving back. Offensive tackles, if we move on from Bowles, say, we could bring back Cam Fleming. I don't think we'll bring him back, though, to be our swing tackle, because I do think that the Broncos like Alex Polkowski, who is the undrafted free agent out of Illinois. I do think they like him. But, yeah, we'll have to see. Dude, it's crazy how Mekhi Becton is a free agent. Like, he was so talented coming out of Louisville in the 2020 draft and then just couldn't stay healthy. That's crazy. A.J. Dillon wouldn't be bad. I just don't know how expensive he would be. But I wouldn't hate A.J. Dillon. Who I really want the Broncos to re-sign, though, is Lloyd Cushenberry. But it sounds like his market is kind of heating up, and I don't know if the Broncos will be able to re-sign him with all who is competing with him. But we'll see. Well, here we'll go for a refresh, see if anything has happened. The Vikings are signing Texans star edge rusher Jonathan Grenard. So is Danielle Hunter gone? Danielle Hunter would be someone who I would love for the Broncos to bring in personally. We'll continue. Guards. I don't think we're signing a guard since we signed Ben Powers last year and we got Quinn Miners. Interior defensive lineman. I mean, I'd like Christian Wilkins, but that's not going to happen. I don't think we're going to be paying him in a rebuilding year, and I don't think he'd be interested in playing for a team that's rebuilding or starting a rebuild. Tyir Tart, I wouldn't mind. Sebastian Joseph Day, I wouldn't mind. Javon Kinlaw, wouldn't mind. Reunion with Shelby Harris, potentially. There's some guys. I do think we need an interior defensive lineman. If you guys have seen some of my mock drafts, pretty much the second pick that the Broncos have in the draft, which if it's a trade down scenario would be a second round pick. If it's a trade up scenario, it would be a fourth round pick, or if it's stick and pick at 12, it would be a third round pick. We need interior defensive line to help stop the run. Appreciate it, Preem. No worries. Have a good day. Have a good day at work. Appreciate you for stopping by though a little bit. Let's go ahead. Let's give it one refresh to see if anything has happened. Titans are signing Tony Pollard. Tony Pollard going to the Texans to replace Derrick Henry because I believe he will be moving on personally. Edge defender, Jonathan Grenard was just signed. Chase Young, I wouldn't mind, but he's kind of a young guy who hasn't really panned out well, or he hasn't panned out as expected. But Danielle Hunter would be someone who I would like to target. And then there was one other guy. Who was it? I think it was Josh Allen, the edge rusher, but I don't see him on here. He was franchise tagged by the Jaguars. Okay. There he is. So I don't see us trading for him. Demario Davis agrees to a new deal with the Saints. Could mean Hunter is gone. That's what I'm saying. Tony Pollard plus Tajay Spears. I still really like Tajay Spears from last year's draft. I think he'll be solid. And then the 1-2 punch of Pollard and Spears. Hopefully they get like 50% carries because I want to see what Spears can do. I really like Spears. I wanted the Broncos to draft him, and he was kind of one of those like hidden gems for that I saw in the draft. And I think this was like about a month, maybe 2 months before the draft, and I feel like everyone started to realize Tajay Spears. And then as soon as I released a mock draft, I had us drafting him in the 6th round, and everyone's like, yeah, Tajay Spears isn't going to be here. And I was like, yeah, I kind of know. I kind of saw the hype building up as I released the mock draft. So it was quite unfortunate, but yeah. Is what it is. Okay, let's go back. So other than Danielle Hunter, I wouldn't mind Chase Young, but we'll have to see. I mean, Andrew Van Ginkel could be a signing just in this kind of rebuilding era. Not that I would necessarily. It is what it is. I'm not going to say anything negative about players because obviously they're all talented to be in the NFL. But I do have preferences. Patrick Queen, I would love for the Broncos to target. I don't know if that's going to happen. I think most likely we'll bring back Josie Jewell on a 1-year deal. But we could go Jordan Brooks, Isaiah Simmons potentially, Sion Takitaki, Zach Cunningham potentially. Cornerback, we might sign a cornerback too, unless we're going to be targeting one in the draft. Don't need Kenny Moore. We got our slot guy. Maybe Stephon Gilmore. Maybe Kendall Fuller. Do we want to have had both of the Fuller brothers? We've had Kyle Fuller. Now we could get Kendall. Adoree Jackson. Not many cornerback. There's a couple cornerback twos, but not as many as I was expecting personally. And then as for safeties, I love Xavier McKinney, but it doesn't look like the Broncos are targeting him. C.J. Gardner-Johnson, someone who we were looking at last year. John Johnson, Jordan Poyer. I don't think we're going to be spending big in free agency on a safety since we just got rid of Justin Simmons. But I don't know. Jeremy Chin, Steve Atwater's nephew, we could target. But no, I feel like we'd bring in someone like a Ryan Neal or someone cheaper. But I don't think we're going to sign a safety. I think that's going to be up to Caden Stearns and PJ Locke next season, if I were to guess. Texans pass rusher Jonathan Grenard, 4-year $76 million deal that includes $42 million guaranteed with the Vikings. So as probably many of you know, if you've seen my mock drafts, I'm a big J.J. McCarthy fan, and I want the Broncos to go after J.J. McCarthy. So you could have different opinions, but I think the Vikings are going to be our biggest opponents to getting J.J. McCarthy. I think it's going to be the Giants and the Vikings who are going to be our competition because I believe Kirk is going to be going to Atlanta. And so we'll have to see. Either we're going to have to pay a lot to get up to pick 4. We might even have to pay even more to trade up with pick 5 with the Chargers since they're a division rival. Or you hope the Giants don't take him and you trade up at 7 with the Titans. Or you hope he falls and you can potentially trade up to number 9 or number 10 and get him. But I don't know. It would be expensive, but I think the Vikings would be our biggest opponent in that. But we'll cover more of that in some mock drafts and as we get closer to the draft. But yeah, so far, really nothing. And then they don't have any punters or kickers on here, obviously, but I just want to re-sign Will Lutz personally for a kicker. But yeah, I think most likely Sam Darnold probably is a Bronco as a bridge guy because I don't know how they feel as Jarrett Stidham as a bridge guy. But if I were to choose, I would say have Stidham as the bridge guy. He's got 1 year left on his contract and then draft a rookie. That would be what I would do. But I think we could, if we sign Sam Darnold, I still think we're going to be going the rookie route because he is a bridge quarterback at this point in his career. He's not the guy who was potentially the number 1 overall pick in 2018, fell to number 3 with the Jets, and then just really hasn't worked out. Yeah, everyone's saying Danielle Hunter's out in Minnesota, like I was saying, but I want the Broncos to target him. The only question is, would he want to come here for a few seasons while we are rebuilding? That's the question. But we shall see. My guess would be no, but I'm told that the 3-year deal that new Titans running back Tony Pollard is getting in Tennessee is very similar to what DeAndre Swift got in Chicago. So the running back market is starting to crystallize early. It appears to be that way. If I were to guess the positions that the Broncos would be targeting, I'd say interior defensive line, and then I would say one splash on one of the bigger guys, Danielle Hunter, would be my preference. And then I'd say potentially DJ Jones is gone, and then we need to fill another, because we run a 3-4 system where the outside linebackers are the edge rushers, and we need to replace the nose tackle and DJ Jones if he is gone, and then we need to replace the other defensive end, because that was Jonathan Harris and that was Matt Henningsen last season. And so I think we would need to sign 2 guys, maybe sign 1 and draft 1, and then target 1 edge defender. But the biggest move that I want the Broncos to make is to re-sign Lloyd Cushenberry. That is the biggest move that I think the Broncos need to make. We'll see if it happens, though. A lot of teams, I think, are going to be targeting Lloyd Cushenberry and maybe paying more for him than we could pay. So we might have to be targeting the center in this year's draft. What I'm also going to do here is I'm going to pull up this so we can look at the guys who we could be targeting. At center, Jackson Powers Johnson is the best, but we're not going to be spending a first-round pick on him, even if we trade down. So maybe Cedric Von Prom out of Georgia. That would be my guess if we had to target a center in the later rounds, but that's like you got to use your third-round pick on him if he's even going to be there. Bo Limmer, I believe, is the Arkansas center. I'm having a hard time remembering who's a center, who's a guard. But, yeah. Oh, fun fact, Drake Nugent I actually played against in high school football. So, Drake Nugent I played against in high school football, and Roger Rosengarten I played against in high school football. So, that's kind of fun. Looks like David Bakhtiari is out in Green Bay. Don't think the Broncos target him, but he did go to the University of Colorado. But yeah, I don't think the Broncos target Bakhtiari. But yeah, to me, McCarthy's kind of my guy. And then I think if we get him in the second round, we don't have a second round pick, but in the third round, or if we trade up our fourth, whatever our second pick is after our first round pick, I think we have to target defensive linemen in this current moment. Things could change in the future, but I like Rook Ororo. But Michael Hall could be an option. We'll have to see. I like Tavondre Sweat, but he's a second-round guy. I really like Justin Eboigbe if we got to go in the fourth round. Actually, I'm a big fan of Justin Eboigbe. So I wouldn't mind even, say, we grab whoever Sean Payton's guy is, minus McCarthy, and then in, say, the third round, say we don't trade up, and he falls to 12, which I don't think is going to happen, but say he does. In the second round, we could go, or not second round, but the third round, we could target a guy like Leggett, though he might go in the second round. Persall might go in the first round. Jalen Polk could be a guy we target in the third. potentially Brendan Rice, Jerry Rice's son. And then in the 4th round, we could go Boygby. But that I'm personally high on a Boygby. I don't know how many people are super high on a Boygby, but wow, cutting David Bakhtiari saves him $20 million. That's crazy. Almost $21 million. I mean, I wish the Broncos were going to be active today, but I know it's not going to be active today, most likely. I think that both Sean Payton and George Payton said that the Broncos are going to kind of take it slower this year rather than coming out of the gate firing like last season. Because if we go last season, I think last year at this time, we had signed a couple guys. We had signed Glenshea, I think, was signed at this time, and I think Stidham was signed at this time. And then there's also Ben Powers, who was signed later in that day. I'm going back to one of my videos from last year, and I'm going back to, where is it? It's the day 1 of free agency video. Yeah, here. Day 1 of free agency. We signed Ben Powers. We signed Jarrett Stidham. We signed McGlinchey. We signed Chris Manhertz. We re-signed Alex Singleton. We signed Zach Allen. Yeah, that was a very active day. It was a very active day. If we have activity today, someone is getting cut or traded. Yeah, I agree. I agree. That's why I don't want to start working on this, because I feel like these guys are pretty much all safe. uh, but yeah, tight ends, I don't know what's going to happen there. Receivers, I'm not even going to pencil in, other than maybe Marvin Mims playing in the slot, although he might play on the outside. I feel like Marvin Mims actually should play on the outside. He's just kind of small, and going across the middle, I don't know if that's the best idea to have Marvin Mims running across the middle with his smaller frame. And then I guess, honestly, I'm pretty confident that Pat Surtain is not going to get traded, so I'll put him there. I feel like I accidentally leave the list, so I just want to get back to my list. Here's Baker Mayfield's 3-year contract broken down if you want to look at it. You have a $28.8 million signing bonus, $40 million guaranteed, fully guaranteed. That's crazy. 10 more fully guaranteed next March. $30 million in base salary for not this year but next season in 2025, $40 million in his final season in 2026 of that contract, and $5 million in incentives each year for Baker. That's crazy. That's crazy. I feel like his rookie year in Cleveland was good, then had a down year his sophomore year, then had a really good year his third year, and then they traded for Deshaun Watson, so he went to Carolina, struggled, went to the Rams, was decent, signed with the Bucks, and it was solid last year. So it's kind of ebbs and flows of Baker Mayfield. So if we're following the trend, this would be a down year for him this upcoming year. Would I bring back Noah Fant? Shoot, if he wants to come back, he's welcome to come back. I would have no problem in that. Let's go to Noah Fant. I hate PFF. I shouldn't say I hate him, but the grading I disagree with a lot of the time. But yeah, I wouldn't mind bringing back Noah Fant because we need that receiving tight ends. And Dulcich has been injured a lot. And if you want to save a pick and don't want to use a pick on a tight end in this upcoming draft, I think that would be a solid move. I think for the Broncos, probably the most likely option is bringing back Adam Troutman on like a 1-year deal. Could bring back Noah Fant, maybe get a journeyman tight end in Gerald Everett. Last year, I would have loved Mike Gesicki, but this season, I'm not so sure. But yeah, I think I wouldn't mind Noah Fant. I think that out of all these guys, probably Noah Fant would be the tight end that I would prefer to bring back out of, or to just bring in general out of all those guys here. However, I know that I don't know how much affection Noah Fant has towards Denver. So I don't know if he would want to come back, but if he does, I would definitely welcome him back. But I think that Noah Fant was someone who we could get tomorrow. Although it doesn't really matter what day you sign him, but you can wait for the market to kind of settle a little bit before you don't have to set the market necessarily, but I still want to bring in an interior defender personally. I think that is the biggest need because we struggled at stopping the run last year. And then I would love Danielle Hunter, but I feel like that's kind of just a dream right now. It's like I don't think that's going to happen, but if I were to choose, I would bring in Danielle Hunter. I know there was potentially some buzz about that going on during the season, but yeah, we'll have to see. I am curious, actually, now that I saw this from Rich Eisen, I am curious about what's going to happen with Justin Fields because it doesn't seem like he's got a market. I like Justin Fields coming out of the 2021 draft, but I don't know. I personally I'd rather get a rookie, so you have specifically in the first round, so you have 4 years, and then you got that 5th-year option to pick up if you want to keep that rookie around, and then eventually, like in that 5th year, if they are working out, you're going to extend them, obviously, but that's just my preference. Because Justin Fields, he's got this year, and then you would have to pick up his 5th-year option if it hasn't already been picked up. And then that'd be 2 seasons before you would have to extend Fields. So, I don't know. Vikings get 3 years younger and swapping out one pricey edge rusher in Danielle Hunter for another Jonathan Grenard. Sounds good. But yeah, a Boygby. We're talking about Miles Murphy. I like from North Carolina. I'm an LSU fan, so maybe I'm biased, but I like Mason Smith and Mekhi Wingo. In terms of edge rusher, if we had to take one, I'm coming out with a video here soon of guys who non-quarterback targets in the first round. In the scenario that the Broncos don't go quarterback, I think that Jared Verse and Lautu are both definitely options. But if we were to go one later, Gabriel Murphy out of UCLA is someone who I wouldn't mind. Muhammad Kamara from Colorado State. Jalks Hunt, who was at the Combine, who kind of impressed. Nelson Caesar from Houston. Zion Tupuola-Fetui out of Washington. Eric Watts from UConn. But, yeah, those are some later guys. Corners. I do think we're going to need to bring in a corner opposite of Surtain, whether that's like Terrion Arnold, Kool-Aid, Quinion in the first, some guys I like later. Kyrie Jackson from Oregon, the former Alabama player. Kalen King has started to fall, but if we could get him where he's projected at like 108, that wouldn't be bad because here's the Broncos draft picks. So, I mean, you would need to target him in the 4th round, but I don't know about that actually with the picks that we have. Probably not, but anyway, let's get back and then we'll go back to looking at other potential draft players. Bengals re-signed tight end Drew Sample to a 3-year contract extension through the 2026 season. This is facts. Can't believe Blake Snell still hasn't signed. That is crazy. One of the better pitchers in the MLB, but that's for a different topic. Are we going to get any more updates? Drew Sample is back. We're kind of just talking about tight ends, which is funny, but I know we want running backs, but I just don't know how likely it is. We'll see, though. Because Javonte, I'm hoping bounces back. Signed P. Ryan last offseason, and then McLaughlin has emerged as a solid back. So I know A.J. Dillon, we discussed, but I just don't know where would he fit. I feel like you would have to move on from Javonte or P. Ryan if we brought in A.J. Dillon. But something that I do want to target, as I feel like Judy's obviously gone. I feel like Sutton most likely would be gone next season. So I think we got to target a receiver at some point. I think we would take one in the draft, but I think we also got to target one. Not Chase Claypool. Definitely not Chase Claypool. But someone else I would like to target. I guess when we look at that, we could look at receivers. I don't think Rome Odunze's fallen to the Broncos. I mean, I have seen some mocks of him falling, but that was definitely before the Combine. That was a while ago. I think first round, maybe in a trade down scenario, Brian Thomas, Adonai Mitchell, our first round guys I would target. And then if we get into maybe the 3rd round, if we don't trade up or whatever, I think Roman Wilson will be out of our range. Potentially Xavier Legette, Ricky Pearsall. I think we talked about this just now, but Jalen Polk, Brendan Rice, Jalen McMillan. I like Jamari Thrash, Luke McCaffrey. I wish these would stop opening. And then after that, I don't know if I'm really a fan of a lot of guys. Xavier Weaver, I know a lot of people are a fan of. I'm just not a CU fan, so I don't think I have the attachment, but could be. But yeah, we'll have to see. It's interesting because what the Broncos do in free agency will impact how the Broncos draft. Don't put it past the Broncos to sign a free agent quarterback this offseason and draft one as well. They're monitoring everything right now, and that's exactly what I think we're due. If it were up to me, I would keep Stidham because he's got 1 year left on his contract, and then draft a rookie to sit behind Stidham for half the season, 3/4 of the season, and then take over towards the end of the season. But what it sounds like the Broncos are going to be doing is they're going to bring in a guy like Sam Darnold and then maybe have Stidham and Darnold compete for who's going to be the guy. and then draft a guy to sit behind whoever they decide to keep. That is what I think will happen. But we'll see. We'll see. I think we're drafting one no matter what. And I would prefer one in the first round. I keep saying, and I'm going to sound like a broken record, I prefer J.J. McCarthy. But if he's gone, I wouldn't mind to trade down. Like, for example, I wouldn't mind if the Broncos decided to trade down. Let's see who has the later pick. I mean, it would be like Green Bay maybe. If we trade down, and I don't think this happens, but if we trade with the 49ers, I honestly think a trade package, and I could be off in my estimation here. I think they would have to give us the second round pick. But because we're moving down so far, almost 20 picks, and then the next pick would be at the end of the second, pretty much at the end of the second round, I would honestly say a future first would have to be involved. So I think that could be what a trade package would look like, but it might be a little bit over expensive. But if we're moving down that far, I think that a future first could definitely be in play for the Broncos if we were to trade down that far, because a lot of people, a lot of the insiders are saying Bo Nix is like a second round guy, but if you trade down to the end of the first and then take Bo Nix so you get that fifth-year option, I wouldn't mind that. But again, my guy would be just still to grab McCarthy, even if we have to move up a little bit. That's my opinion. I know a lot of people, probably a lot of Broncos fans. Well, I won't say a lot. I feel like it's kind of split down the middle of Broncos fans who want McCarthy and Broncos fans who don't. But yeah. Danielle Hunter would be a huge get for the Rams if they are even interested. Keeping an eye on the Giants with his former defensive line coach there. Commanders, Falcons, and others should be interested. I think the Broncos are interested but whether that happens or not, that's a mystery there. That is a mystery. Remember, if you are enjoying the stream, to leave a like and subscribe to the channel, as the support is greatly appreciated. All right, here we go. I kind of want to look at what other streams are doing, but yeah, we'll see. All right. Yeah, a lot of them are just on Twitter the same, but I'm going to take Marvin Mims off because he's going to be on the team next season. But if he's playing outside or slot, that's still unknown. I would prefer him to play outside rather than the slot. I think McCarthy is the most NFL-ready option. That's interesting. That's interesting because I'm a big McCarthy fan. I think he needs to sit a year personally because, I mean, if you see some of the throws, some of them are NFL caliber. He can throw them right into a window. I think they're amazing throws. He's a great leader, but I feel like I kind of want him to sit a year so he can learn to go through some of his progressions more and read defenses more. But if he started week one, I'd be hyped. But I think we would all have to remember to just not overreact, because that's something I've noticed about this fan base, including myself. We love to overreact right away. So we just have to temper expectations if he started week one. But if he started week one, I wouldn't mind it, but I would expect him to sit for half a season, something like that. Vikings re-sign David Quessenberry. Broncos are signing Brandon Jones to a 3-year. So we have signed safety Brandon Jones, but this sucks right here. Lloyd Cushenberry is expected to sign with the Tennessee Titans. So we are officially in need of a center. Was hoping sign him. Think he got priced out of our range. If you want to follow my Twitter, I think the link should be in the description if you are interested. If not, no worries. I tweet a lot about football, the Broncos, the Avalanche, and the Rockies, pretty much. So if you want to see my stupid tweets, go ahead and follow. But if not, no worries. But we are signing safety Brandon Jones to a 3-year deal. Let's bring up Brandon Jones. Former Miami Dolphins safety, former Texas Longhorn as well. Brandon Jones will be with us. I'm going to pull up the stats now. Remember, stats aren't everything, but it's the easiest indication to show you. It's the easiest form of display that I can show. Yeah, the Titans did get a lot better. Yeah. Here is Brandon Jones. Has played in majority of the games except for 2 seasons ago. I mean, we need to add a safety after Justin Simmons. I think so. Most likely it will be Brandon Jones and Caden Stearns being the starting safeties. But yeah. 3-year, $20 million contract. Denver on the signing board with Brandon Jones. Yeah, that is that is interesting. I didn't think we were going to make any moves today. I will say, though, I am a bit bummed. Yeah, I'm now done with Lloyd Cushenberry going to the Titans. I am bummed. The Titans are signing former Broncos center, Broncos center Lloyd Cushenberry, the former third-round pick out of LSU, started fifth. Oh man, I'm talking too fast. But he started 57 games with Denver. Jeez, that's embarrassing. But this is the most disappointing news of the day for me, losing out on Lloyd Cushenberry. I think the Broncos absolutely needed to keep him. We are now officially in the market for a center. And yeah, I'm bummed. Got steadily better each season. Man, that sucks. So currently, I believe our center is... Dude, I think it's Alex Forsythe, the 7th-round pick from last season. One sec, I'm just responding to someone. All right, let's see if any more moves happened. All right. Former defensive line or Cowboys defensive lineman Dorrance Armstrong is finalizing a deal with the Commanders. Brandon Jones and PJ Locke is the safety duo in Denver. I'd imagine a bit of blitzing. I would probably say Stearns is a starter unless they're concerned about his ACL, which I believe he went down with. But maybe Locke starts. Source: the Jags are signing former Bills wide receiver Gabe Davis to a 3-year deal. I'm bummed out on Lloyd Cushenberry. I know he had a career year and a contract season, but the thing about offensive line is you have to build up that chemistry. And so losing one of those pieces, especially the anchor with the center, is tough. So you got to replace that guy and have him build chemistry with each other. But, I mean, the tough thing, though, what I was getting to is his best season, which was last year, was in his contract year. But I thought he slowly got better each season. So it is what it is. It is what it is. But I am bummed about losing Lloyd Cushenberry. All right, I guess we'll start looking at centers. Yeah, Brandon Jones, we already went over that news. Here's one last look at Brandon Jones. Obviously, stats aren't everything. I got to just always mention that, but it's the easiest indication to display. It's easier to display stats rather than like go through everything and look at the pros and cons and everything. It's just a quicker method, but it's not the most effective method. As for centers, Jackson Powers Johnson is the best center in this draft, but Cedric Van Pran out of Georgia, I don't know why I say that with that kind of French accent, but I really like in the later rounds. I think Graham Barton and Zach Frazier might be a center. I think Graham Barton is a guard, though. I don't know what the Broncos are doing anymore. I'm not exactly stoked about Brandon Jones personally. I see that, especially in a rebuilding year. I don't know what the contract is going to look like, but it's $20 million over what? It's $20 million over 3 seasons. So that's like $6 million, almost $7 million a season. So I see it. I would have preferred personally to roll with. Personally, I would have preferred to roll with PJ Locke and Caden Stearns. Funny enough, both are Texas guys, so Brandon Jones is also a Texas Longhorn as well. But I'd have preferred to roll with those 2 guys, and then I know we're rebuilding, but that's just an interesting move to me. But I trust Sean Payton; he knows what he's doing. Bringing in Brandon Jones is going to be one of his guys. Was first take on my list. Oh, NFL and ESPN is reposting it. Come on. Trying to see the news. Yeah, they didn't pay him that money to be a backup, so PJ Locker Stearns will not be a starter next year. And I have a feeling it might be Stearns just because he's got 1 year left on his contract, although I'd prefer Stearns and Jones, but you'll have to see. We'll have to see. Brandon Jones is in Denver, which like you said, Tyrone, is a very interesting move, and I don't know why. But we'll have to see. We'll have to see what happens. Gabe Davis now in Jacksonville. That's interesting receiving corps. Most likely Calvin Ridley's gone, but they got Christian Kirk and Gabe Davis down there now. like I was saying, so I think so. Jackson Powers Johnson is the best center in this draft. Zach Frazier might be a center. I think Graham Barton's a guard. Cedric Von Prawn, I think, can play guard and center. Mahogany's a guard. Bo Limmer is a center if we wanted to target him in the 5th round. Whoops. I accidentally hit the back button on my mouse. But yeah, and then in terms of centers, I guess we'll refresh this. But in terms of centers, Connor Williams, Tyler Biotish. I wouldn't mind Tyler Biotish, honestly. If we were to go the free agent route of a center, which might be better because other than Jackson Powers Johnson, I don't think I'm too thrilled. Other than Cedric Von Prom, but I don't want to spend a 3rd round pick at the earliest, even if he'll be there. At this point, we need every single draft pick on the offensive side of the ball. I think majority of the draft picks should be on the offense. I think we need one defensive lineman at least. We might sign a guy, or maybe we don't. Maybe we keep DJ Jones. But even still, I think we need one defensive lineman. And maybe that's Michael Hall or Justin Eboigbe, like I mentioned earlier. But I think at least one defensive lineman, and then I think we sign an edge. But I think a majority of our draft picks should be on the offensive side of the ball. We need a quarterback. We could take a late round running back. We could take a guy like Amani Bailey. We could take a George Halani, someone who I was impressed at with the Combine, which the Combine, you can't base everything off of it, but it was Isaac Garendo I liked. But yeah, we need to take a receiver or two. Probably gonna need to take a tight end. I don't know if we take a tackle. I think most likely Bowles and McGlinchey are the tackles with Alex Polkowski there. But we need a center if we don't draft a center. But yeah, so I do think a majority of our picks will be on the offensive side of the football. I absolutely agree, but I think there will be some that we need to dress on the defensive side. But wow, Christian Wilkins is coming in the division, a 4-year, $110 million deal with the Raiders. Wow. Wow. I don't like that. I do not like that. And we just lost our center, too. Of course. A whopping $27.5 million per year. Crushed Justin Madubuike, Dexter Lawrence, Jeffrey Simmons, Quinnen Williams, only behind Chris Jones and Aaron Donald. That is wild. I mean, I'm not surprised about Madubuike. I think he's solid, but over over Dexter Lawrence, Jeffrey Simmons, and Quinnen Williams, that is crazy. Broncos are slated to sign safety Brandon Jones to a 3-year deal. Yeah. That does hurt. Yeah, blocking Max Crosby just got a lot tougher. Of course. It's a rebuilding year anyway, right? That's what I'm going to go with. It's a rebuilding year. Oh, man. This is going to be a rough season. Just smile through the pain. Just smile through the pain. Yeah, Raiders made an offer that no one could refuse, honestly. That's crazy. That's wild. Dude, imagine if they had Chandler Jones still. That'd be crazy. Um, I hate to do this because this is a Broncos channel, but I think it's important that we go ahead and we look at the Raiders depth chart for who they just added. Essentially, they added, I would say probably over John Jenkins, they added Christian Wilkins. Then you got Max Crosby, Bilal Nichols, and then they have Malcolm Kuhn slated as the other edge rusher, but I feel like former 7th overall pick Tyree Wilson might be the other starting edge rusher. That'd be my guess. Crosby, Christian Wilkins would slot in here, Bilal Nichols, and then Tyree Wilson. I think that would be the starting defensive line for the Raiders if I were to guess. Hey, it's all good though. At least we signed, Brandon Jones? Trying to get back to it real quick. Yeah, Brandon Jones. I'll be honest, I wasn't too familiar with Brandon Jones's game. But I'll have to do some more research. With Brandon Jones coming aboard, Broncos appear to have their safety core set. I agree. So we could probably fill this in. I don't know. I feel like it's going to be PJ Locke. I would prefer this to be Stearns, but then Brandon Jones. We really just have a full room full of Texas free agents or Texas safeties. Caden Stearns, and then I think Delaren, Turner, Yell would be here, and then I think be like JL Skinner, probably something like that. I think that's what the safety core would look like. We'll have to see. Maybe Turner Yell gets cut and JL Skinner slides in there, but yeah, we'll have to see. We'll have to see. That's kind of what the safety core would look like if I had to guess. I think I might be missing a guy, but I can't remember. I think the Broncos are done for the day. I thought they weren't even going to make a move today unless it was like signing an edge rusher, but gosh dang. Was Brandon Jones even on here? Yeah, he was. That's the most expensive. Oh my goodness. And Kevin Byard signed for $5 million less. It's crazy. But I'm gonna trust Sean Payton that he knows what he wants, even though I think we are rebuilding. Dang, the news kind of slowed down a little bit. News slowed down a little bit. I'm going to pull up the Broncos depth chart. I want to see if I accidentally forgot a guy. Forgot a guy at safety. PJ Locke, Laren Turner-Yell, Caden Stearns, Shaleska. Devin Key. We did sign Tanner McAllister to a future contract, so I'll put Tanner McAllister. Yeah, we'll have to see. Cornerbacks on the team next season: Pat Surtain, Damari Mathis, Jaquan McMillan, Tremont Smith, Riley Moss, and then I do like Art Green, but I do think we're going to be signing a number 2 corner or drafting one. We'll see. It just doesn't make sense with all the other holes we have, but it is what it is. Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying. I think that the safety core would have been fine with Caden Stearns and PJ Locke. Especially in a rebuilding year, I think it would have been fine. Plus, we had young guys like Laren Turner-Yell and J.L. Skinner as well. But it is what it is. It's what it is. Like I keep saying, I'm trusting Sean Payton. I think he knows what he wants to do. Call that copium or whatever, but I trust Sean Payton. I mean, we saw Brandon Johnson, I think, when we got blown out by Miami week 3, but I think it's now official. Yeah, the Titans land a starting center and Lloyd Cushenberry. That's a great pick. Let's see what people are saying about it. I don't know why it just opened in a new tab, but whatever. Who? Casual. I don't even see any replies. Okay. Yeah, I mean, I wish that was a re-signing, but can't dwell on it too long. Can't dwell on it too long. That stings, though. One second. With all this talking, it's making my throat kind of dry. I need to start drinking some more water. This is just my preparation for the NFL draft streams. Draft is like my favorite event of the year. We're going live all 3 days. So that's going to be like 4 hours on day 1, 4 hours, maybe 5, day 2, and then it's like I think a 7-hour stream on Saturday for day 3. So got to get some practice in. All right. Since it is slow right now, I want to ask all the Broncos fans in the chat, what's the next position we sign? Is it going to be the veteran quarterback? Is it going to be like a Sam Darnold just to get that other guy in there? And then obviously going to compete with Stidham to be the initial starter, I would say. And then we're going to draft a guy as well. Is it going to be running back, receiver? What position do you think we are going to address next in free agency? And then in that position, I'll keep scrolling for you all. Who do you think we are going to sign in that position? If I were to guess, the next position we are going to sign, I think it is going to be a quarterback, and I think it is going to be Sam Darnold, and I think that it will be him I think it'll be Darnold and Stidham competing for the starter, and I think we'll have a rookie behind whoever has won the starting job, and then I think DiNucci will be on the practice squad. That's what I think. But if it's not a quarterback, I think it is going to be a defensive lineman, and then I don't know who we would sign. I think it will be a defensive lineman or an edge rusher. Would be my next guess. But I'm not expecting to be super active in free agency, especially today. I think our next signing will probably be maybe at the end of the day or tomorrow, something like that. But I don't expect us to be super active today. But we'll see. Obviously, we have one signing, which I don't think a lot of us expected. But a 3-year deal worth up to $50 million in incentives is the contract that Gabe Davis has just gotten from the Jacksonville Jaguars. I'm curious to see the Cushenberry contract. I don't think the details have come out yet, but I'd imagine it's like a 4 or 5-year deal for Cushenberry. We'll see. The Titans, I was going to say the Titans always steal our centers, but Cushenberry's going to the Titans, and then Matt Paradis went to the Panthers. So I was wrong about the statement I was just about to make. But all right, well, we are about an hour and a half in, so I'm going to start working on the depth chart for the upcoming season. And if someone gets added, we'll add them in. If someone gets traded or cut, we will take them out. But I kind of do want to start working on this. So we'll start at right tackle with Mike McGlinchey. We're just going to work on the starters now. The right guard is, the right guard is Quinn Miners. Center, we're going to leave that blank. But we do have Alex Forsyth, who was our 7th round pick from last season. Left guard, we have Ben Powers. And then left tackle, for now, it's Garrett Bowles, but we'll see if we decide to move on from him at any point. And then right now, the swing tackle is Alex Palczewski, the undrafted free agent out of Illinois. Guard, we'll put with, what's his name? It's Luke Wattenberg. And then that's kind of what the offensive line looks like right now. Receiver, I'm not going to fill out because I don't know if I want Marvin Mims as the slot. I keep saying going over the middle with his smaller frame, not the greatest idea. So I feel like maybe on the outside, but I don't know. We'll have to see what Sean Payton wants to do with Mims because he will be a featured target. But yeah, the Broncos' new starting center Lloyd Cushenberry was going. I think James Palmer mistyped and had some not so great grammar. It's okay. It happens to all of us. Was going to head elsewhere. Now Cushenberry is headed to the Titans, and Denver will look towards Luke Wattenberg or Alex Forsyth to fill the center spot. They like both. Another example of a player heading out of Denver with finances playing a part of the equation. So it sounds like from James Palmer, who is an NFL insider who spends a lot of time around the Broncos. Sounds like the Broncos really like Alex Forsyth, the 7th round pick, or Luke Wattenberg. If I had to pick between one of those two, I would definitely pick Alex Forsyth as my preference. But we'll see. So I guess we'll move Forsyth to the starting spot right now. And then Wattenberg will he'll play guard or center for right now, is what it is. Right now, I think this guy might be cut or traded, but DJ Jones. And then right end is Zach Allen. And then if I had to guess, it'd probably be Matt Henningsen currently as the other defensive end. In terms of edge rushers, I think it's Nick Bonito. And then I'd say Baron Browning. At least that would be my preference. Um, Baron Browning, and then I'd say like Jonathan Cooper as the edge rushers right now. Inside linebackers, we have Alex Singleton. Josie Jewell is currently a free agent. So honestly, right now, I think it's Jonas Griffith is the other starting linebacker. And then, dude, who else do we have? Sternad is a free agent. Drew Sanders is moving to edge, which I disagree with, but I'll put him at the edge position. I don't know. This is a lot of change will be happening here, and I might have to do it off screen, but I'm just going to try and update this throughout the day while there's a little downtime. Packers say goodbye to David Bakhtiari. The Giants are re-signing Gunnar Olszewski. I'd never been able to pronounce his name. Titans land Pollard and, of course, Lloyd Cushenberry. But yeah, it looks like the Broncos knew he was gone. I wish they would have tried to they might have tried, but I think they were just priced out. I just want to see the contract details of Lloyd Cushenberry though. Is our long snap? I think it's still Mitchell Fabroni. I think. The kick and punt returner. I still think you got to keep Marvin back there with how great of a season he had. But I think the backup would be Tremon Smith if we needed a guy. Slot corner is going to be Jaquan McMillan. I don't know. Honestly, I wouldn't mind Riley Moss being the starter. We let Damari Mathis try this past season. Didn't really work out, but I wouldn't mind Riley Moss, but I'm not going to fill that in yet because, I don't know. I'm just going to wait a little bit. While we do this, I guess I'll go. Let's look at current 2024 mock drafts. This was, today is the 11th, but this was made yesterday on the 10th. I haven't seen these newest ones. Who do they have? The Broncos. Olu Fashanu. If I were to say at this point, well, we'll see what happens with Bowles, but at this point, I think that Terry and Arnold would be in play. Lautu. Brock Bowers. Probably. Or maybe trade down and pick someone else. So I don't know if I agree with that one, but these are just people's opinions. Jared Verse, I think we're going to have to leap the Vikings. I don't know if the Vikings are going to try and trade up to get McCarthy. So we'll have to leap them, or if they're trying to trade up, we would have to try and trade up and leap them still. But Jared Verse, I don't think is a bad pick if the Broncos don't go quarterback in the first. Bo Nix. They have McCarthy going all the way up here. Geez. But Bo Nix, I wouldn't mind for the Broncos, but I think that should be in a trade down scenario. Let's see here. Okay, that's the one we just looked at. Cooper DeJean. Let's see. Caleb Williams, Drake May. Dude, where are the other quarterbacks? Where's Jaden Daniels and JJ McCarthy? What is this? What is this? I like McConkey, but he's just like a second-round pick. I don't know. This is not the time for this. JJ McCarthy. Okay, I gotta know. Did I just miss Jaden Daniels? Okay, he falls to the Saints at 14. I don't think he gets past the Broncos, but maybe. I don't think so. All right, let's go back. Compensation update. The Bengals signed tight end Drew Sample to a 3-year, $10.5 million deal. He gets 3.3 he gets $3.5 million essentially in 2024, and that is currently the latest we have on. Well, I guess currently the latest we have on free agency. So we'll continue to look at these mock drafts that were made yesterday and even I think the day before on the 9th we'll look at. Brock Bowers, could see it happening if we don't get the quarterback we like. We just looked at the Texans. Now we're going to the Lions. Williams, McCarthy, May, Daniels, Dallas Turner. If he falls, I do think that is an option. But even if all the quarterbacks are gone, I don't think Daniels is going to fall that far, in my opinion. Or Dallas Turner is going to fall that far. Romo Dunze, if he falls that far, I would love Romo Dunze. I'd love Romo Dunze. And then I guess we'll look at the Fantasy Pros one real quick. Terry and Arnold, could see that happening. Quinion Mitchell could happen. Wouldn't be my preference, but could happen. And then we'll look at some mocks maybe a little bit later. Maybe we'll do a mock too while we wait. Yeah, still here. Okay. Let's go ahead. Let's create our own mock. It's going to be the Broncos, and we are going to do a 7-round mock. It does have the updated picks from the Jerry Jeudy trade. Can we enter the draft, please? Okay, yeah. So we got our first, a third, a fourth, 3 fifths, and 2 sixths, which is finally updated because it was a 7th. Now it's finally updated to the 6th, to a 6th round pick. But let's go ahead. Let's start. And yeah, unfortunately for us, McCarthy is gone at this point, which I think is good because I have done my past few mocks have been trading up for Caleb Williams, and then my guy is JJ McCarthy. So we did one where we traded up to get McCarthy, and I'm still going to do more of those. But at this point right here, who do we want? I could see Lautu being targeted, but I think like the Broncos want Bo Nix, and he's like a day 2 guy. Like, could we trade down with I don't know who's got like I mean we could try and trade down maybe with Pittsburgh. I don't know. We'll think about this. I like to think about it and not just go willy-nilly through mock drafts. I like to take my time, but hey. Dan Quinn is familiar, bringing in a familiar face. Sources say the Commanders are expected to sign former Cowboys center Tyler Biadasz. And that is someone who I wanted the Broncos to target at center. But I guess I should have known when James Palmer said the Broncos are comfortable with Alex Forsythe or Luke Wattenberg at center. It is what it is. It is what it is. But yeah, I think if you guys are interested, some of my next videos that are going to be coming out here soon, I'm going to do a video of Broncos targets in the scenario that we don't draft a quarterback in the first. I think drafting a quarterback in the first is the most likely scenario, but if we don't, I think that is a very well, obviously it's a very real possibility if we don't go quarterback, but if we don't go quarterback, I got 10 draft targets that the Broncos could target, and then I'll do another mock draft. I'll probably do one like in a trade down scenario, because I've done a trading up to number 1 overall. I've done one trading up to get JJ McCarthy. So it's either my next 2 I want to do is staying at pick 12, and then I want to do one trading down. And then after we cover those 4 scenarios, then we'll just do a lot more mock drafts of just anything really. But that's kind of my plan for now. And then I'm of course gonna make recap videos of what the Broncos have done in free agency as well. But yeah, if you are liking this stream, make sure to hit it with a like and subscribe to the channel. I believe currently we're 1 sub away from 500. So if you could help me reach that goal, that would be awesome and mean the absolute world to me. But yeah, news is kind of started to ramp up. Now it's a little bit slower, but it can ramp up just here in a little bit. You never know. You never know. This is why I like NFL free agency a lot more than the MLB free agency. As for Brandon Jones's new contract, the average per value on Brandon Jones is about $6.67 million per season, and PJ Lock is $3.5 million, adds up to or about $10 million per season for the starting safeties. That's $4.3 million under than the amount the Broncos saved by cutting Justin Simmons. So that's effectively 2 safeties for the price of 1, which isn't bad, especially in a rebuilding year. Is this list private? I was going to say, if you guys want to follow this list to keep up with free agency, you can, but I think I made it private. Whoops. Essentially, if you guys want to look at everyone I have in here, here's essentially everyone. I think I can add a couple insiders that I forgot to add, but I got the big ones, or a majority of them. But yeah, let's go ahead. Let's get back the mock drafts website. I don't know why I accidentally closed out of the tab. Is there any... we can look at... this doesn't have any effect on us right now because they're going to change, but here's sort of the look at next year's class. Luke Lachey is a tight end who I'm kind of high on if the Broncos want to wait till next season to address tight end. Luke Lachey, really like. Quarterbacks. This is a weird quarterback rankings, I got to say, but there's, of course, Shadur, Quinn Ewers, Jalen Daniels here, Will Howard. But I'm not a bit... Carson Beck, Drew Aller. But I'm not a huge fan of next year's quarterback class. I'd prefer to get McCarthy this year and then target a receiver potentially in the first round next year, and Emeka Egbuka. There's some other guys who I feel like are ranked a little low, but I don't know. Or potentially an offensive tackle next season. Jared Penning, Trevor Penning's brother, is coming out. If you remember Trevor Penning, the first round pick by the Saints in 22. But yeah, that's the 2025 guys. They're going to change as next college football season goes on. So not really worth talking about right now, but it's just interesting to look at the future. Tyler Biadasz agrees to a 3-year deal with the Commanders. Drew Sample, 3-year deal with the Bengals, of course. But yeah, here's Brandon Jones, the new Broncos safety. He tweeted out, "Truly wouldn't trade these last 4 years for anything. Forever grateful for the Dolphins organization for taking on a chance from a kid." I'm not even going to try and pronounce that, but Texas, he's from Texas, that wanted nothing more than to live out his childhood dreams of playing in the NFL. Denver, let's freaking go. Glad he didn't tweet out "Let's ride," because that would have been some PTSD, and I accidentally clicked out of the list. Whoops. Yeah, here's all the current free agents. I'm not a huge fan of PFF's grading system, but Spot Rack was not opening in terms of the free agents, so I decided to go here. But maybe we can get Spot Rack up. NFL free agents. It's not loading for me right now. Maybe it's because so many people are trying to... Oh, there it is. There it is. Here's the current free agents that have been signed: Jonathan Grenard, DeAndre Swift, Tony Pollard, Kevin Byard, Mitch Morse, Jonnu Smith, Mitchell Trubisky, Chukwuma Okafor, and then Russ, and then Isaiah Oliver. I was curious about the Lloyd Cushenberry contract. That's what I was That's what I was trying to find. His market value, let's see this. I'm curious to see what they say for market value. If it loads, you can see how slow it is. Okay, and it times out. All right, we'll not use Spot Rack for right now. All right. So, with the news that James Palmer dropped, and this was a while ago, Lloyd Cushenberry went to Tennessee, but he said the Broncos really like Alex Forsyth and Luke Wattenberg as the potential centers. I think it will be Alex Forsyth, the 7th-round pick from last year. I think he'll be plugged and played there. So, with that news, maybe the Broncos don't target a center, both in free agency and the draft, but I think that this most likely is the starting offensive line. Now, granted, Garrett Bowles, I think if an offensive line piece is moved, it's going to be Garrett Bowles. I think that these 4 will be locked in place. I think Alex Forsyth will be the center, but I think most likely this is the starting offensive line. Alex Pogzuski is a swing tackle, and then Wattenberg can play both guard and center, so I think he will be the backup to both Powers, Miners, and Forsyth. But, yeah, I think Alex Forsyth is going to be the starting center for the Broncos, it looks like. I don't think we're going to target one in the draft, it looks like. Maybe we can. You never know. A lot of smoke screens around this time of the year. But in terms of the centers here, let's go ahead and refresh this. But, yeah, Tyler Biotish, Lloyd Cushenberry, and Andre James are all signed. So I'm not a huge fan. If there was a guy, theoretically, if the Broncos were to go after a guy, it would be Connor Williams. But Aaron Brewer, Coleman Shelton, Evan Brown, and Nick Gates, I just prefer to roll with Forsyth, especially in a rebuilding year. I think that roll with Forsyth, see what he's got. If not, you dress center next offseason. The Jaguars are signing free agent safety Darnell Savage to a 3-year deal. The former Packer. I think it was a first-round pick, too, in like 2019. Darnell Savage going to the Jaguars. Also, I did see that the Rams have agreed to terms with guard Jonah Jackson on a 3-year, $51 million deal contract with $34 million guaranteed. So the Rams add a Lions guard, but I did see that former Bronco guard Graham Glasgow signed an extension with the Lions. Was drafted by the Lions, went to Denver for a couple seasons, went back to the Lions, and just signed an extension, so good for him. Safety Lonnie Johnson Jr., who was with the Saints last year, is returning. To the Texans on a 1-year deal per source. Houston drafted Johnson in the 2nd round in 2019. Seahawks free agent tight end Colby Parkinson intends to sign a 3-year, $22.5 million deal, including $15.5 million guaranteed with the Los Angeles Rams per sources. Before playing at Stanford, Parkinson attended Oates Christian School in Westlake Village, California, which is right down the road from the Rams training complex. Parkinson now goes back home, and he stays in the Division II, and of course the NFC West. And yeah, it looks like we're up to date. This is really late. Former tweet from new Broncos safety Brandon Jones on February 2nd, 2014. Money on Broncos today. Yes, sir. Rebuilding year for the Broncos, but hey, still important to see where these free agents go. Titans expect to sign Lloyd Cushenberry. But yeah, that is currently up to date with everything. Fullback, don't know yet. Could be Michael Burton, could be someone else. Could be no one, and could be a hybrid tight end and fullback like we had in Andrew Beck a few seasons ago. But yeah, we'll fill in the tight end slot right now. Let's see, it's Greg Dulcich. Troutman's a free agent, so I don't know if he's going to be signing back. But then there's who? There's Lucas Kroll, Nate Adkins. We cut Manhurts. Troutman's a free agent, so that's about it for right now in terms of free agents. Unless I'm forgetting someone, but I think that is what it is. I keep closing out of the Broncos depth chart. I hope everything is fine in terms of the internet, because sometimes my internet has a problem, so I hope everything is fine. But let's see here. We're talking about tight end Dulcich. Troutman's a free agent. We got Nate Atkins and Lucas Kroll. That looks about right. In terms of the offensive line, Cam Fleming's a free agent. We like Alex Pogzewski. We got Luke Wattenberg. We like Forsyth. Did we re-sign Quinn Bailey? I can't remember if we did or not. I can't remember. Because if he did, we'll have Quinn Bailey as well. I don't remember. I know we re-signed we tendered a player, and I can't remember if it was Quinn Bailey or not. Jonah Jackson now in LA with the Rams. Jets free agent defensive end Bryce Huff is signing a 3-year, $51.1 million deal with the Eagles. Once free agency opens, per sources, the deal will make Huff the highest paid non-QB undrafted free agent in NFL history. That was confusing as I was reading it, but he'll be the highest paid undrafted free agent that is not a quarterback, essentially. I thought he was about to say the highest paid non-quarterback, and I was going to say, wow. Whoa. The Packers are expected to sign Josh Jacobs. Wow. Josh Jacobs headed up north to Wisconsin. Going to play with Jordan Love as their new running back. I believe A.J. Dillon is a free agent. I can't remember if Aaron Jones is or not, but yeah, they are getting their RB1 in Josh Jacobs, the former first-round pick by the Las Vegas Raiders. I felt like he was leaving Las Vegas, but I didn't expect the Packers, if I'm honest. And then I think it was the first pick for the Rams in last year's draft. Guard Steve Avila out of TCU looks like he's going to be moving to center. And that's it so far. So far we are caught up. Yeah, Josh Jacobs and Aaron Jones. That is crazy. Well, I saw your comment. I don't know what happened to it. I don't know if you deleted it or if like something got a hold of it. Let me see. I got you. Okay, yeah. I see it was taken back. I got you. But yeah, Josh Jacobs and Aaron Jones, that is crazy. I thought that A.J. Dillon and Aaron Jones was a solid running back tandem, but Josh Jacobs and Aaron Jones, that's probably even better. I'm a little disappointed that the Packers are moving on from A.J. Dillon simply because Dillon became a full throttle evangelist for all tourism-related things in Door County, Wisconsin. Okay. I thought it was going to be something related to football, but, well, I guess it kind of, but was not expecting that. I'm still waiting to see max of about $20 million, essentially. But I want to see the lengths of some of these contracts. Like, I want to see how long Josh Jacobs signed for. I want to see how long Lloyd Cushenberry signed for. We'll get those things in, like, hopefully soon, but definitely within a few days, maybe even a few hours. Yeah, if the Broncos want to bring in a running back, I'm all for bringing in A.J. Dillon. I don't know what his role would be on the team because, I don't know, I like Javonte. I'm hoping he can bounce back, but we'll have to see. Samaje was a solid third down back, and Jaleel McLaughlin was really good last season. So, yeah, we'll have to see. But, yeah, this tight end group definitely need to address it either in free agency or the draft because Dulcich I like, but he gets injured a lot. And then I don't know how I feel about Kroll and Atkins as the two other tight ends, but we'll see. See what Sean Payton thinks. Dang. All right, let's go ahead. Let's look here. Like Elijah Garcia, I think we should bring him. Dylan would be great in the red. That is true. I feel like Javonte could be solid though too. But the big thing about Javonte is that ACL. I do wonder if that affected him last season. But if we bring in AJ Dillon, I would be all for it. Like don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to like go against it or say I don't want AJ Dillon. I'm just trying to think of what will happen because I don't know George Payton. I don't know Sean Payton. I don't know if they want to give Javonte another year. Obviously, they signed Shamaje Perine. I think it was like a 3-year contract. So I think they want to keep Perine around. And then obviously Jaleel McLaughlin, solid undrafted free agent. But if we do, yeah, Dylan would be a solid goal line back, red zone back as well. I feel like I just don't know if they want to give Javonte another shot for have like it be 2 seasons since the torn ACL, but we'll see. And then they keep bringing up tight end Drew Sample's contract. Oh my goodness, come on. The Panthers are releasing veteran safety Von Bell. I don't know why I thought this was Frankie Louvu, but I know he's a linebacker, but I don't know the picture. I thought it was Frankie Louvu for some reason. But yeah, Von Bell, former Saint and former Bengal safety. Played under Sean Payton, but I don't know. I hope we don't bring him in. I think we're good at safety now. I think we are good at safety now with Brandon Jones, PJ Locke, Caden Stearns I like, and then got 2 young guys in Delaren Turner, JL Skinner. And then I liked the future contract of Tanner McAllister. So we're good at safety. No more safety. No more safety. All right, let's see here. Yeah, so far we're up to date. here soon. Since the news is starting to slow down, I kind of want to go through a 7-round mock draft with the Broncos, but I like to take my time, so it will take a while. But I'll just get this set up and ready for whenever. We'll do one where the Broncos don't trade at all, just so it's easier and we don't have to make a trade. But yeah, I know there's been a lot of traction about Sam Darnold potentially coming to the Broncos, and I mean, as long as he's just a bridge quarterback, I don't want Sean to give him a chance to be the long-term answer there, because I think he's gotten his chance to prove himself. He got his chance in the Jets, and then he got his chance in Carolina, then was a quarterback with the Niners last season, but the Niners are deciding to move forward with Brandon Allen as a backup rather than Sam Darnold, so it'll be interesting. I don't mind that move as long as we draft a rookie. As long as we draft a rookie, that is fine with me. That is A-okay. But yeah, so far, the Raiders have confidence in Zamir White. They'll likely draft one now. Meanwhile, the Packers add a franchise back. Who could the Raiders draft? I just like to look at this, but they'll probably draft a later running back. Here, we're going to exit. We'll go and let's select every team so we can go ahead and look at their picks. Let's go to the Raiders. Who could they draft as maybe a later running back? I mean, I feel like he'd have to be a third-round pick, but I really like Jalen Wright out of Tennessee. Will Shipley is solid. Audric Estim. Isaac Guerrero, I feel like could be a very real option. Dylan Labe, though, I feel like from what I saw at the Combine, Dylan Labe could very well be a Raider guy. Same thing with Isaiah Davis, one of the small school backs. I don't know why they have Isaac Guerrero over Jahar Jordan. I think Jahar Jordan is better than Guerrero, but I really like what I saw from Guerrero at the Combine. Also, I don't know why Cody Schrader is ranked so low. I think he should go a lot higher. I think Cody Schrader could be a Raider if they want to go in that direction. Blake Watson, too. Amani Bailey, George Halani. Yeah, those are some guys that I could see them targeting. But again, I'm not a Raiders fan, so I'm just giving you who they could target. But yeah, the market, or I guess not the market, but the news is slowing down. Did I accidentally move this? Okay, I think I did, but I think I moved it back. Okay, we're good. All right. Here we go. All right. I'm just constantly refreshing right now. I'm just waiting for any news to drop. Yeah, Bryce Huff. It's pretty much the same news we've gotten. Who would be a big free agent that I want to sign, or not the Broncos to sign, but just to sign with a team in general? Probably Danielle Hunter. Honestly, maybe it's because I want the Broncos to draft him, but I don't know. That's just kind of, I don't know. It's just kind of what I want, and I don't know. It might be, yeah. I think it's just because I want him, but I don't know. I'd like to see where Danielle Hunter goes, even if it's not the Broncos. All right, let's see. Please update news. Yeah. Jordan Love, Josh Jacobs now in Green Bay, which I think will help Jordan Love's development to have a running back like Josh Jacobs. We'll go to the Green Bay Packers. They got Christian Watson, Romeo Dobbs. I really like Jaden Reed, and I love their two tight end punch of Luke Musgrave and Tucker Kraft. He's got some good weapons there. Obviously, Bakhtiari is gone, but I think adding Josh Jacobs is solid pickup for Green Bay, honestly. Solid pickup. Let's go back to the Broncos now. Commanders signed Dorrance Armstrong to a 3-year, $45 million max value deal. Dorrance Armstrong, I think he's a interior defender, if I'm not mistaken, right? Yeah, Dorrance Armstrong, yeah, interior defender. Or edge, he's an edge, apparently. I thought he was an interior defender. The only thing I like PFF over Spot Rack in terms of the free agency is, well, I think Spot Rack might do this too, but I like the clarification between interior defenders and edge defenders because they play two completely different positions. But if you run a 4-3, your defensive ends are your edge rushers. But if you run a 3-4, your outside linebackers are your rushers. So I love having the edge rusher versus saying, oh, defensive end or outside linebacker. It's stupid. I think they need to clarify it better, especially in the draft and, in Madden and stuff. They need to add the edge as a position rather than defensive end or outside linebackers. But that's just my opinion. Did the Broncos have any interest in bringing on Josh Jacobs? Not as his Ooh, okay. Tyrone, like you were saying, Benjamin Albright is alluding to A.J. Dillon. Of course, we'll see what happens, but he is alluding to A.J. Dillon, so we'll see. The Commanders are expected to sign ex-Cowboys center Tyler Biadasz. Yep, we saw that. Someone who, before the news came out that looks like the Broncos are going to roll with Alex Forsyth or Luke Wattenberg, that I would have targeted to replace Cushenberry. The Jaguars are signing former Broncos kicker Will Lutz to a 3-year deal. We are going to need a new kicker now. I liked Lutz, but he's gone. He's gone. He's not here for the rebuild. Yeah, so Brandon McManus is out and another Broncos kicker is in. I mean, I kind of expected this because we're rebuilding, but still doesn't hurt. I mean, especially with how Will Lutz performed towards the end of the season. I'd have liked to re-sign him, but it's like we're going kicker. We're not drafting a kicker. I just want to get that out there. We're not drafting a kicker. If we were to, Harrison Mevis, probably the best kicker in this class out of Missouri. And then, I don't know, maybe a Will Rijkaard or a Josh Carty. But Harrison Mevis is definitely, my opinion, the best kicker in this class. But we're not drafting a kicker. We're not drafting a kicker. I guess I'll pull up Spot Rack because PFF doesn't have kickers, which, I mean, I prefer Spot Rack to PFF. I keep saying it, but I do prefer it just because it has they have a ranking instead of going. Well, you can go by position, but they have like a big board of all the free agents that they prefer. I mean, if it even loads. Let's go to kicker. Let's update this. I'll have to see if it updates. Edge Dorrance Armstrong. Yep. Going from the Cowboys to the Commanders. And we are still waiting to see the free agent kickers. Maybe I'll just free agent NFL kickers. Let's just bring this up because Spot Rack is having a hard time loading today. All right. Greg Zuerlein, 36. Don't really want, but could. Kyami Fairbairn, I believe, re-signed. Chase McLaughlin re-signed. I think Zuerlein actually re-signed if they're red, but then at least that's what I'm guessing. Lutz is gone. There's still Nick Folk, Greg Joseph, could bring back McManus, Joey Sly. Those are about all the free agent kickers, unless we're going to sign an undrafted free agent, but we'll see. I mean, I don't know why I'm making a big deal about a kicker, but I just kind of want to give all the options out there. Yeah, welcome everyone into the stream. I see we currently are peaking at viewers. If you are enjoying, make sure you do leave a like and subscribe to the channel to help out, as the support will be greatly appreciated. I believe currently we are one sub away from getting to 500, so if you could help me out, that would mean the absolute world to me. Yeah, currently the news is, I don't know, it comes in spurts, it feels like. It started off slow, and then some news picks up, and then we're kind of in a lull right now, but then the next spurt we'll get like two or three more signings here. I guess for now we'll throw in Cortland Sutton in here, even though I do expect him to be traded or something at some point. And then Tim Patrick, he could play in the slot. Patrick, I'm going to put Marvin Mims in the slot, even though, like I've said earlier today, I don't know if that's the greatest idea with his smaller frame to be running across the middle in the slot, but we'll just put him there for now. And then, yeah, I'm just going to put those three for now. I think Lil Jordan Humphrey, I wouldn't mind to re-sign. But I think like Michael Bandy, David Sills, Philip Dorsett. I can't remember if Jalen Virgil's a free agent or not. Brandon Johnson. But yeah, we'll just wait and see. We'll wait and see. This is kind of, yeah, we just kind of got this filled out for now. I think this is good for now until we sign more free agents and more free agents go places. We'll update it. We'll update it later as it goes on, and we'll update it throughout the offseason too, after the draft and whatnot. Oh, Kirk Cousins agrees to a 4-year deal with the Atlanta Falcons. They are no longer in our way if we want to go and get a quarterback. Looks like Kirk is going to Atlanta on a 4-year deal. Kirk Cousins is officially becoming a Falcon. The Broncos showed interest, but I'm glad we're not going after Kirk because in a rebuild, I don't want to go after an older veteran. I think we need to get a young guy. Need to get a young guy and build around him. Get Sean Payton's guy, who Sean Payton can run his offense through the younger guy. So, yeah, we'll see. Yeah. We are. I'm pretty confident we're drafting a rookie quarterback. Specifically in the first round is my hope. And then I do think we're gonna sign a guy like Sam Darnold to compete with Stidham to start right away. Yeah, 4-year deal with the Falcons for Kirk Cousins per his agent. So that's one less team that needs a quarterback. If I were to say all the teams who need a quarterback, I mean, it's not looking good for us to get a rookie, especially with the Vikings now not really having a quarterback. It looks like they're going to need to jump us to draft a rookie, or I don't know. I doubt they go after Fields, but I think we're going to have to jump the Vikings if we want to get our guy. I mean, like I keep saying, I'm a McCarthy fan. I'm a McCarthy fan. That's who I want. But we're going to have to jump the Vikings. I think we're going to have to jump up if we want to get him. If not, I think we're going to most likely be trading down and get him Bo Nix. But we'll see. We're still about a month out from the draft. A little bit over a month. Yeah, it's a 4-year deal. I just wonder who the Vikings are going to have as their. I know they have Jaron Hall, and they had Joshua Dobbs in his temporary, but I remember everyone was freaking out over the Dobbs insanity run. But they got Jaron Hall, Josh Dobbs, and Nick Mullins. Probably going to be drafting a quarterback, if I were to guess. Probably going to draft a quarterback, but we'll see. We will see. Justin Fields is on the market. I don't know if they're interested. Obviously, it would be an interdivisional trade. I know the Broncos aren't interested, so we'll see. We'll see. Yeah, Kirk's got Bijan, Kyle Pitts, and Drake London. That offense is kind of scary, not going to lie. Not going to lie, that offense is a bit scary. Is it a fully guaranteed contract? That's what I want to know, because I know that's what Kirk was asking for. I don't know. I don't see anything that says it's fully guaranteed. It very well could be fully guaranteed. Hoping for Bo Nix. I personally wouldn't mind Bo Nix, but I don't know. I'm a McCarthy truther, but each to their own opinion. I respect your opinion, and I really wouldn't mind Bo Nix. But that's a trade down scenario for me if we were to target Bo Nix. But yeah, I personally want McCarthy. That's just my opinion. But we're definitely drafting a rookie either way, if I had to guess. With Kirk Cousins leaving Minnesota, expect the Vikings to be a leading candidate to trade up into the top 3 to 5 picks and select their quarterback of the future. Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. They're going to be competing with us. They will be competing with us. And my guess is we're not going to get McCarthy, unfortunately, from me. I think it most likely is going to be Caleb Williams at 1, and then the Commanders are going to choose between Bo Nix, or not Bo Nix. The Commanders are going to choose between Drake May and Jaden Daniels. And then the Patriots at 3 is interesting because they definitely could go quarterback, but I've seen a lot of people having them go Marvin Harrison Jr. I don't know. I think they're going to probably go quarterback. Who's ever left over between Drake May or Jaden Daniels, with them trading away Mac Jones, unless they're going to wait a year and get Marvin Harrison Jr., one of the best wide receiver prospects we've ever seen, and then get their quarterback later. And then I think the Vikings are going to trade up maybe with the Cardinals and then get McCarthy. And then I think for us, it's going to be maybe more of a trade down scenario. And I hate saying that because I want McCarthy, but I can't just try and manipulate what I think will happen just because I want it. But this takes the Falcons out of the running for Bears quarterback Justin Fields and puts the Vikings and the new hunt for a quarterback. Minnesota liked Fields a lot ahead of the 2021 draft, but that was with a different coach, different GM, and they're in the Bears division. Yeah, I kind of wish the Falcons got Justin Fields and then Kirk went back to Minnesota. I think that would be the best for the Broncos, but I think we're not going to be getting our guy unless we move up and we pay a king's ransom to get our guy, but we'll see. With the Falcons signing Kirk Cousins, the Vikings are now squarely in the quarterback market. They currently stand at pick 12. A trade up to snag one of the top 3 quarterbacks would cost Minnesota a large haul of picks. I mean, this is kind of just like hopium and copium, but he says the top 3 there, so maybe they trade down with, or they trade up with New England and they grab either Drake May or Jaden Daniels, who's ever left out of that bunch of top 3, and still leaves McCarthy for the Broncos. But that's just a bunch of hopium and copium right now. Like if we were to do this, I would say Bears go Caleb. I like May, but I think from everything I'm hearing, I think it's Jaden goes 2. And this is where the real question is do the Patriots take May? Do they take Marvin Harrison Jr.? Or do they trade down? That's the real question. That is a question that I've been seeing. And maybe everything will happen here in some time, but we'll see. My understanding is that the Vikings really made a strong push last night and today. The Falcons were confident they could get this done and end up doing so, even though Minnesota created what you could call a bidding war. Come on, Kirk, go back to the Vikings. I think the Vikings should absolutely sign Sam Darnold, and I think you should roll with him for a year at Minnesota. Roll with him for a year. See what he's got. Get your quarterback next year. No, it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. They're going to go their guy this year, but I hope. Patrick Queen is not any interest in Denver at his current asking price, it looks like. Dang. All right, I'm going to go ahead and we're going to go Marvin Harrison for the Patriots. Let's just throw the scenario out there. And then let's say the Cardinals say the Cardinals are going to be trading with Minnesota. I don't know. I think it would cost them their second. I honestly think it would probably cost, I don't know, maybe even a future first or whatever. We're just not going to worry about the compensation because this is just a 1 year, but let's just do that. That's not going to be the trade, but let's do that. Let's say they take Drake May. I think Chargers could definitely go Malik Neighbors, but from what I'm hearing, I think they go Joe Alt, especially with Jim Harbaugh going to be wanting to establish the run. The Giants right here then would be our final threats to get McCarthy. If this scenario happens, I think they maybe go Neighbors. That's just hopium right there. And I think the Titans, if you guys all saw my latest mock draft, I think this could be a scenario or a spot that the Broncos trade up to ensure they get their guy in McCarthy. But I'm not doing any more trades in this mock. Could go Olu Fashanu. Falcons got their quarterback. I think they go Dallas Turner here. Then the Bears, Odunze. Jets here. I feel like they could go offensive tackle here. Go Talise Fuaga. The Cardinals now in a trade down scenario. Don't think they go quarterback. I think they're going to roll with Kyler. I don't think they go Bowers. I think because they have Trey McBride there. This is just purely speculation too. We need to throw a heavy quarterback like Breeze. McCarthy, I don't know if he can do that because he was in a run-heavy system, so I'm not sure what he can get. I know he was in a run-heavy scheme, but in my opinion, when he had to throw the football, he was okay being in the run-heavy scheme. It was a pro-style offense, and I know it was run-heavy, but I'm not going to discredit that. He made some really good throws into some really good coverage for McCarthy. Here's what I think. I don't think he starts right away if we go McCarthy. I definitely don't think he starts If we go McCarthy, or if we draft McCarthy, he's not starting right away. I think it will be between Stidham, and then I think we probably bring in Darnold or someone to compete for the starting job. And I think he sits behind him. But he's super talented. He's super talented. I'm not holding it against him. He was in a run heavy system. He didn't complain. He's a great leader from what all his teammates are saying, from what Jim Harbaugh has said, from what Blake Corum has said, from everything I've said. He's a great leader. So I mean, I'm a big fan of McCarthy, personally. But to each their own opinion. But that's my view on McCarthy personally. Let's go ahead and let's look at the updated free agency before we continue that. Justin Fields' trade market is almost non-existent now. Russell Wilson to Steelers and Kirk to Atlanta. Raiders or bust for Fields. Could the Bears keep Fields and draft Caleb Williams? Bears aren't going to give away Fields for free. Well, I don't know. So now Minnesota needs a first-round quarterback. Either Sean Payton is going to have to make a big trade up to land his guy, or he should be calling Chicago about Justin Fields. It's too crowded in the top half of round one. I don't think we're interested in Justin Fields, but that's from everything I've heard. With one move, a team ahead of the Broncos landed squarely in the first-round quarterback mix. The Falcons at number 8 took themselves out. Expect Atlanta to be fielding plenty of calls in the coming days and weeks about that pick. And I think the Broncos could very well be calling Atlanta about the pick to trade up for their guy. I do. I do think that the Broncos will be calling that. Expect the Vikings to go after Sam Darnold. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. Apparently, Broncos are another suitor for Sam Darnold. We'll see. We will see. Here, I don't know what the Cardinals would do in this trade down scenario. They could go a tackle. I'll just give them a tackle. Could go in a different direction, but I don't think they would go quarterback, and that would essentially land the Broncos McCarthy in that scenario. But yeah, it'll be interesting around draft time. Of course, I'm super nervous because I want McCarthy, but man, it's going to be fun to speculate. It's going to be very fun to speculate what happens. We'll see, though. I doubt this happens, but if the Vikings do go Darnold and wait a year I don't think if they sign Darnold, I don't think they're going to wait a year. But if they were, the quarterback class next year, Shedeur Sanders, Quinn Ewers, Cam Ward, Carson Beck, and Drew Aller would be the top guys in next year's class for quarterbacks. At least those are my top guys. You could throw Jalen Daniels from Kansas in there too. Whoa. Former Giants running back Saquon Barkley reached an agreement with the Philadelphia Eagles on a 3-year, $37 million contract that could be worth up to $46 million and includes $26 million fully guaranteed at signing. Barkley is going in division and is going to the Eagles. Wow. All right. That is it's a big move going in division. That's crazy. The Patriots are signing former Commanders running back Antonio Gibson. Daniel Hunter is the top free agent with Kirk Cousins heading to Atlanta. I can't imagine what this comment section is going to look like when I click on this of Giants fans. We're doing it. I should not have clicked on it because I like to have a fairly family friendly channel, but yeah, there it is. There it is. Let's go ahead. Let's refresh this. Updated free agents. I honestly do think the Broncos are probably done for the day, but we'll see. The Giants tried for over a year to get a Saquon Barkley extension done, but they kept falling. But they kept falling just short. Now, 6 years with the organization, they see him go to a division rival. And I don't know if that makes them in the market for a quarterback because Saquon Barkley definitely helps who is ever at quarterback there. I I know there's rumors that the Giants are done with Daniel Jones. Are they though? They signed I think he signed a 3-year contract extension last offseason. Do they just ride it out one more year and then go after the guy next season? I don't know. I don't know. I think right now the competition for the Broncos to get a rookie quarterback is 1 and 2 to the Bears and Commanders. They're definitely taking one. Patriots at 3 could be a competitor. And then down at 6, I think the Giants could be in play for a quarterback. And then I think the Falcons are out of it now with Kirk Cousins, and then I think the Vikings. So those are the teams ahead of them. But here's a statement from the Vikings GM thanking Kirk Cousins. The Cardinals have agreed to terms with cornerback Sean Murphy-Bunting. See what the Vikings fans are saying. Drake May, drafted quarterback. Yeah. I think they are going to be drafting one. No question. Just which one? Yeah. I mean personally for me, yeah. I hope so. Um but yeah. Real quickly, I will be right back. I am going to go ahead and run to the bathroom, and then we'll pick up, and hopefully some more free agency news has dropped. But yeah, I'll be back in just a sec. Gonna turn off the webcam, and I'll be back in like 2 minutes, if that. All right. I'm back. Let's see if anything has happened while I was gone. Packers guard John Runyon reached an agreement on a 3-year deal with the New York Giants for $30 million, including $17 million guaranteed at signing. The deal was confirmed by agents Drew Rosenhaus and Kyle Lincoln. Let's see who. Let's see. Yeah, it looks like some of them want McCarthy, some don't. But I don't know. That doesn't matter what the fans think. We'll see. We'll see what happens. The Eagles aren't done per Diana Rossini. Sounds like another signing's coming, but every time someone says that, it takes takes a while. Takes a while. I probably should add Diana Rossini to this list, but I can't remember how to add to this list, so we'll have to make do with who we got right now. 4-year, $180 million deal for Kirk. Jeez, that's $45 million per season on average, and gets 90 over the first 2 years and $50 million to sign with him. Dang. Dang. No, I wish Kirk re-signed to Minnesota. I do. Wish Kirk signed to Minnesota, and I wish Justin Fields went to Atlanta. That would have worked out perfectly for us. But Sean Payton, if he wants his guy, he's going to have to do some wheeling and dealing. So some updates on the Brandon Jones signing. He's younger and cheaper than Simmons, and he thrives in pass coverage and blitzing situations with a nose for the football. The Broncos got a new starter, first entering his prime at a fraction of the cost at his predecessor. That's what Zach Kelberman, at Kelberman NFL on Twitter, if you want to see it for yourself, has said. We are about approaching here the 3-hour mark, and I don't know. I might wrap this up around then, but we will see. We will see what happens. If things get interesting, we'll stay on longer. But yeah, we'll see what happens. Who do you think we prioritized if the Vikings beat us to Darnold? I think Brissett, Jimmy G, Tannehill, Zach Wilson, Mason Rudolph are the next tier of names. If we do sign any of these guys, in my opinion, still, I think we need to go get our guy in the draft. But I don't know. We'll see. I will do a free agency recap for the Broncos tonight. It's not going to come out soon. I want to wait until at least 8 o'clock Mountain Time, and then I will release a video. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. It could just be the Brandon Jones signing, but the Vikings are signing Andrew Van Ginkel to a 2-year, $20 million contract. I feel like that's the writing on the wall. I think Danielle Hunter is gone. For the Vikings, I'm a Broncos fan. Obviously, I don't know why I'm saying that like I'm a Vikings fan, but I do think I want to start a Madden franchise series next season. So I think, I don't know. As much as I want to do the Broncos, I think I might do whatever team takes McCarthy, JJ McCarthy, which could be the Broncos, but I don't know. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. Grenard and Van Ginkel is the new pass rush duo in Minnesota. And so far, nothing else. There's been rumors of potentially the Eagles doing more, but nothing has happened since the Barkley signing has happened. All right, we'll see what happens. I want to see what the other people who are streaming this are doing other than Twitter, but it looks like the majority of them are Twitter or in a group, and yeah. Yeah, it is what it is. It is what it is. I think for me, and I know I keep saying this, but I will list all the quarterbacks who I would want for the Broncos next season, and it's a pretty quick list. It's a pretty quick list of the quarterbacks I want the Broncos to draft. Caleb Williams, Drake May, and Jaden Daniels will all be gone by the Broncos picks. It'll be interesting, but McCarthy is my number one guy. And then if the Broncos trade down, Bo Nix would be the next guy that I target. And that's about it. That's about it. I mean, if we trade down and we go somewhere else in the first round, and then in the second round, Nix isn't available, and we go Michael Penix, I wouldn't mind that. But the reason I really don't want Michael Penix is that injury history. 2 ACL injuries, and he's had an injury to each of his shoulders. And the best ability is availability. And with that injury history, that really concerns me. And so I think McCarthy runs Sean Payton's offense the best. And so I'm hoping that he trades up for McCarthy and gets him. Or I'm hoping that maybe he doesn't fit the Viking system or the Giants system very well and they pass on him and he falls to the Broncos. But that's a very unlikely scenario in my opinion. But we're still just over a month away from the draft, so we will have to see what happens in that time. Yeah. So we'll see. But I think the two that I want are McCarthy. I want a lot, and then if he's not available, I think Nix would be the next ideal guy. And not a Rattler fan, not a Pratt fan. I think if we take a guy, it has to be one of these 6, preferably one of these 2, because I don't want to go with another mid-round guy and be stuck. Oh, is this guy the answer for the Broncos or is it not? We need to find the quarterback of the future ASAP that we haven't been able to find. So we'll see. But we're entering a rebuilding year, and I think that it's very plausible that we go quarterback in the first. Especially to get him, to have him start developing, and then after, can start developing, and then as the rebuild is coming to an end, we build around him, get the weapons around him, and then boom, we're ready to roll as he keeps developing over the course of his first few seasons. Yeah, we are kind of in a lull right now. Yeah, got Jaron Hall, Nick Mullins. Dobbs is a free agent. Yeah, we'll see what the Vikings want to do. We'll see what they want to do. Sounds like they want McCarthy, but I think the Broncos also might want McCarthy, so it might turn into a bidding war. And if that happens, I don't know if the Broncos win that. The Broncos traded Jerry Jeudy for much less than they were asking last offseason. There's a few reasons. Another inconsistent season played a part that he just has his fifth-year option after this season. The wide receiver draft class and overall market as well, but also financial seems to be a part of it. Same thing with Marvin Mims they're mentioning now. Yeah, we'll have to see. We're going to have to go with another receiver at some point. I don't think it's going to happen right away unless I think I'm not going to keep saying it, but you guys know who I want. My ideal pick for the Broncos is J.J. McCarthy. But if these 4 quarterbacks are gone and we stick at pick 12 and don't trade back, I wouldn't mind Rome Odunze if he fell. I don't know if he is going to fall, but if he fell, wouldn't mind Rome Odunze. But to me, I think Daniels, May, and Williams are all gone. I think either the Broncos trade up, take McCarthy, get their guy, or they can't trade up, or they don't want to trade up and he's gone. I think most likely the Broncos trade down, pick up some extra draft capital, and go with Knicks later. That would be my guess of what happens. And so I don't think Rome Odunze will be a Bronco. I think we need our quarterback of the future. I do. And it will be interesting to see, too, because we're not trading for the number 1 overall pick, so you're not going to do that before the draft. I think you're going to wait to see how the board falls and then trade, or you're going to have a trade in place. And if everything falls the way it does, and it's like, okay, yeah, our guy's still there, pick up the trade in place, call in, and then you trade up. But we're not gonna see it at least until draft day if we do trade up. But yeah, we'll see. Here is Daniel Jeremiah's top 10 picks of this current draft. Chicago taking Caleb Williams. Washington taking Jaden Daniels. New England taking Drake May. Arizona taking Marvin Harrison Jr. The Chargers taking Joe Alt. The Giants taking Malik Neighbors. Tennessee taking Olu Fashanu. Atlanta taking Dallas Turner. Chicago taking Rome Odunze. The Jets taking Talise Fuaga, and then that means the Vikings would have the next pick, and I think it would be McCarthy unless we jumped him at that point, if everything happens how Daniel Jeremiah is predicting. But yeah, nothing is going on currently that I see. Yeah, we're right at the 3 hour mark here, so I'm gonna give it like 5 minutes. If nothing else happens, I might be in the stream here. But yeah, we'll see. We'll see. I am curious. Oh my goodness. I am curious at how long my stream was last year. I'm gonna go ahead and look that up while we are waiting. Currently, let's see, last season we were live for, I mean, about the same time. We were live for about 3.5 hours last season. Or I guess it wasn't a season, but last year is about how long we were live for. Not a great running back draft. One of the reasons these vet running backs are flying off the board. Yeah, I feel like it's not as strong as previous years, but there's still some names I like. Braylon Allen is my number one running back. I like Trey Benson. Jonathan Brooks coming off an injury, though. Jalen Wright, Bucky Irving, Marshawn Lloyd. There's some guys, but not as top heavy as last year, like with Bijan and Gibbs. Interesting to note that one of the proposed kickoff changes, leg strength matters, less accuracy, and a precision kicker. A kicker like Nick Folk might make a lot of sense for the Broncos if they look for a veteran. That is, of course, with Will Lutz signing a 3-year deal in Jacksonville. Once again, for the second straight year, he is replacing Brandon McManus. But yeah, we'll see. All right. I accidentally minimized my other window over here. It's all good. Dang, 400 millions of earnings for Kirk. That's crazy. All right, I'm going to give us about 10 more minutes. And so about whatever, I don't know what time zone you're in, but whatever the hour is, the minute is going to be about 18, 19. Then we'll sign off, and then I'll just give my voice a rest because I've been talking for nearly 3 hours straight. But Giants are showing interest in former Eagles running back Boston Scott. Giants are really saying, fine, if you still are running back, we're going to steal yours. But obviously, one is better than the other. Yeah, I feel like we're slowing down now. I feel like this is the point where deals are going to come in every once in a while. So, yeah, we might be ending it here. Ending it here just in a bit. We'll see. All right. All right, yeah. Things are starting to wind down, yeah, so I'll probably be ending this here soon. Here's new Broncos safety Brandon Jones. So far, I think he's the only free agent we've signed, right? I believe so. Unless I'm forgetting someone. But I don't think I am. I just know when I shut this stream down, a big move is going to happen. I just know it. But, yeah, we'll see. I think I'll give it 5 more minutes. So, we'll go till 15. We'll go to 15. Unless something drastic happens. Let's see. Is there any updated mocks from today? There is not. There is not. But if we were to do just a first round mock right now, what do we think it would look like? We'll refresh here real quick, and we'll go back every 5 picks or something. After reaching an agreement today with free agent running back Josh Jacobs, the Packers informed running back Aaron Jones that he's being released per source. Aaron Jones is now a free agent. So Aaron Jones and A.J. Dillon are both now free agents. So it is fully Josh Jacobs' team in terms of the running back position. All right. Here's how I think it will go. Caleb Williams, Drake May, and then what did Daniel Jeremiah, he tweeted out kind of his mock. He thinks Drake May then ends up in, all right, I messed up already. Because I do think that, I prefer May, but I think Daniels goes to Washington is what it's looking like. So Caleb Williams, Jaden Daniels, Drake May here, Marvin Harrison, and this is with no trades. Joe Alt, Giants go Neighbors, and then what is it? I think it's Fashanu is what DJ has going to Tennessee. Fashanu. The Falcons go Dallas Turner. The Bears take Odunze. And then the Jets take Talise Fuaga. And then here, I think the Broncos have to jump Minnesota to get McCarthy in this no-trade scenario. But unfortunately, he goes to the Vikings here, if I were to guess. And that pains me. I don't think you understand how much that hurts me to not have to bias my way to having the Broncos take McCarthy. But I don't know. Then here we could take Brock Bowers, Terry and Arnold, for Jared Verse, Lautu, a couple other guys. But yeah, I mean, we'll see. I think right now our biggest competitions for McCarthy are the New York Giants and the Minnesota Vikings. So I think most likely you have to jump to 4 with the Cardinals, or if you want to, go and trade with a division opponent, you can or you can trade with the Chargers. But yeah. All right, unless something happens here, we'll give it like 3 more minutes, and then we'll end the stream because, well, I accidentally went to Brandon Johnson's, but here's his message about joining Denver if he wants to look at that. Interesting nugget from Move the Sticks on NFL Network just now. If the price drops dramatically, would the Eagles be interested in Justin Fields as a dynamic athlete backup to Jalen Hurts? I feel like if it drops drastically, I feel like another team might trade for him. Or if the Bears want to deal within the division and give Fields to the Vikings, because from everything I've heard from the Broncos insiders and whatnot, the Broncos are not interested in Justin Fields. But yeah, it's about that time. I'll give it, like I said, 2 more minutes to see if anything pops up. If not, this is probably where we're gonna end the stream this year. Do these annually, but I definitely have much more fun in the draft, because the draft, when things are gonna happen. Round 1, 10 minutes in between picks, and then certain times you can talk about those players and you can theorize and whatnot. But then here it's like you don't know when some news is going to drop. Aaron Jones is going to wind up with a team he gassed and sent packing in the playoffs. So I think that is alluding to him going to the Cowboys. Aaron Jones to the Cowboys, it sounds like. But yeah, give it here another minute, and then we're going to wrap up. And then I know as soon as I hit the end stream button, a big free agent is going to sign, because I just know that's going to happen. But yeah, it is what it is. It is what it is. Here's the updated Broncos roster. Well, Russell Wilson was gone. Lloyd Cushenberry's still here, which unfortunately he is not anymore. But I think this is going to be about it, ladies and gentlemen. I just want to thank you all. Oh, actually, another re-signing for the Colts. Sources say they're bringing back edge Tyquan Lewis. There we go. That's the final news info of the day, but I'll keep refreshing as I do this outro. But thank you all so much for watching. Thanks for everyone who tuned into the stream. And if you're watching this as a VOD afterwards, I just ask that you leave a like and subscribe to the channel, as the support is greatly appreciated. We are 1 subscriber away from hitting 500 subscribers. So if you could help me reach that goal, that would mean the absolute world to me. But yeah, ladies and gentlemen, thank you all so much for watching. I have plenty of videos coming out that are going to be speculating about the draft, recapping free agency, and as it leads up to the draft, we're going to do a ton of mock drafts for the Broncos. And then I think the day before the NFL draft, I'll do a full first-round mock draft. And then as well as I'll release my top 10 players per position for each position group leading up to the draft. And so, yeah, I got a ton of content planned, so make sure you subscribe and leave a like. But, yeah, thank you all so much for watching and tuning in. I'll go ahead and give it one last refresh to see if there's any news to cover. And, well, the Vikings are re-signing Minnesota native linebacker Blake Cashman to a 3-year deal. If Kirk Cousins plays out his contract, this will carry him past his 39th birthday, and all this earning power set up by his willingness to bet on himself by placing bet on himself by placing a franchise tags at 28 and 29 years old. But yeah, that is the last bit of free agent news. So yeah, thank you all so much for watching. Be on the lookout for my recap video for the Broncos tonight. And thank you all so much for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace out. See y'all.